Hey, kids. You're listening to the internet's wettest podcast about video games, consoles, and pancakes. The SML Podcast.
What's up, everybody? This is the SML Podcast. I'm your host, Joe. Joining me this episode, we've got Aki hanging out. Aki, how are you doing?
I'd be better if I had my better mic.
Well, you're visiting, so you're stuck on that headset for a while, or that microphone.
Yeah.
You should have thought
Eventually
ahead.
we'll get another one to review, and then I'll replace this with that.
There you go. But in the meantime, we got a guest joining us, Evan Wolbach of Dead Drop Studios. You are finally joining the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's great to finally have you on the show. We've been covering your games for about as long as we've been doing the show, it feels.
And it has to be years at this point, right?
Yeah. We've been covering them since your first game, which was how long ago?
The first game came out in January of 2017 on Steam, and then the first Xbox release was it had to be June of 2017, I think.
Wow. Yeah, it's been a couple of years that we've been covering your games, and you're finally on to chat with us. It is
awesome. About
time. I'm thrilled to have you on. I feel bad that Cole isn't here, but
I don't.
Yeah. Harsh. But yeah, no, it's a shame too. I was looking forward to speaking with her about this one, but maybe for another time. Who knows? Who knows?
Maybe. But for now, you are here to chat with us about the demo for your new game, Outbreak Contagious Memories. It is part of the Xbox Winter Fest or ID Demo Fest. I don't know what they're calling it. What are they calling it?
My understanding was it was the Game Awards Xbox Game Fest demo event, I think was the full title of it. I might be wrong, though.
Yeah, close enough. You're a part of it, though, and that's exciting. How does it feel to be a part of the whole big Game Awards showcase?
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's really a privilege and honor to be included with that. There's tons of other great games up there, and anybody who's listening to this now or in the future before the demos go down, which I believe it's either the 14th or the 21st of December, to definitely go on there and check out all the demos, because there's really a lot of neat stuff on there, and it's awesome for the new Outbreak game to be getting featured with that. And Xbox has been generous enough to do, an Xbox Wire article on the game. ID at Xbox played through part of the demo, I believe it was a night or two ago, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. That was my first experience with the game. I hadn't played the demo before that point, and your game is shiny.
Very shiny. That's one of the important parts of survival horror is everything's got to be as shiny as possible.
Yes,
and that's where the fear comes from. The shininess will be adjusted in the full product, though. We're gonna tone that down just a tiny bit.
I still think you should add a floor buffer to the warehouse to explain why it's so shiny.
Let you drive around.
Yes,
yeah. It's but it's funny. Those are the shininess on the floor it's real time reflections, which is a great visual addition to the game. And it's unfortunately it was just set a little too high in that demo, so you kind of get blasted with it. But in the full game, it'll be toned down a bit more. You actually don't see the shininess though on if you were like on a base Xbox One or Xbox One S. That's shininess is a next gen feature.
Ooh, so Aki, you didn't get to see the shininess.
No, not at all. I was really confused when y'all were talking about that.
That's
like,
oh man, we
shiny.
We should have just been lying to you the entire time and just like kind of kept going. Be like, no, it was really shiny. It looked amazing, and if you didn't notice it, there's something wrong with your Xbox.
The dragons were crazy. Those are another Series X exclusive. The dragons.
Yeah. Magic spells for some reason.
Do not start with dragons. You will pay for that.
So, Aki, what was your time with the demo like?
I enjoyed it. It was pretty good. It reminded me of one of the other games I played. There was I don't know if I reviewed it or if it was just free with gold at one point, but it reminded me a lot of it. I really like that you could alternate between the different view angles whenever you want it in the game. That was really cool.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that.
That's something that I mentioned on the ID stream. It's really cool that you have not only the static second-person cameras, you have over-the-shoulder third-person cameras, and you can use a first-person camera, and you can switch between them at will, which, Resident Evil doesn't do that. And you do, which is cool. And I like that.
No, and I love it too. And that's the reason why that exists now is just due to fan feedback over the years because, originally the first title was 2D, which I think you guys saw, and it was like kind of an overhead adventure. And then the new Nightmare did fixed camera angles that were similar to Resident Evil. And some folks really enjoyed that because you really can't get a fixed camera game anymore. Some folks really did not care for that. And then, as the series went on, we eventually did an over-the-shoulder view with Lost Hope and Epidemic. And then when we got to Endless Nightmares, it just that was something that I wanted everybody to be able to play the game kind of the way that they wanted to. And I was just thinking, well, why not just design it from the ground up to let you swap between the two? And one of the pieces of feedback I was getting constantly was, can we get a first-person shooter Outbreak game? And I thought, well, why not? It seems like a great time to do it. And it kind of evolved into those first 3 views in Endless Nightmares. And then that was iterated on for a patch that came out for Endless Nightmares a couple months back. And with this new title to give you kind of full free look and precision aiming in the third-person and first-person shooter views. So at the end of the day, if you like classic Resident Evil, you can play it like a classic Resident Evil game. If you like Resident Evil 4 or 5, you can play it like that. And if you like Resident Evil 7 or 8, you can play it now exactly like that. And everybody kind of gets exactly what they want. And I thought that was really important. And I think it helps differentiate the game from other titles out there.
I'll admit, I played it mostly in first person. That made navigation so much easier for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's awesome. And I mean, it's great that that's such that you're enjoying it in first person, given that that's really one of the brand new views recently in the series. And I have to confess too, I'm a fixed camera guy. I always just wanted to play the games in fixed camera, and the first person shooter view I now play them primarily in FPS mode, which I thought was kind of surprising.
Oh, so your development of the game changed the way you play.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the first person view, and it's great in Contagious Memories because if you're playing on a next gen platform, again, I'm really tempted to just start lying about features just because I know because I know Aki hasn't seen any of this, and just start listing off crazy things. But in all seriousness, the things that I really like about first person view is that when you're in combat with the enemies, you now get a very clear view of your weapon, the handgun or the shotgun or the knife. When you're in combat and you attack an enemy or they attack you, blood splatters all over the environment and it sticks to the environment now. And I think that it adds like that visceral combat to it, along with all the really like the physics systems for how the blood splattering, for the shells ejecting from your gun as you fire, when you reload, your clip ejects. There's like a lot of those different touches that are kind of bouncing all around the room as you're in combat, and it makes it feel very visceral. And it was kind of surprising to me how well first-person view felt with all that kind of firing at the same time. And I'm really happy with it. And the fan feedback has been that a lot of people prefer the FPS mode more than the other 2 view angles right now.
That's pretty cool. Yep. I'm having fun swapping between them as the scenario requires. The fixed camera I don't use as much, but I do find myself switching between third and first person quite a bit, depending on like if I'm navigating a narrow corridor and I need to see in front of me, or if it's a more wide open room and I want to see all around. So it's cool that you have the multiple options there for people to use as they see fit. That's more games need to do that.
Yeah, and it's important to note too, it's not just switching the camera view in game. You have control over your field of view. You have control over a lot of the graphics options happening on the game when you're playing on the next gen platforms. And you can customize how far back the camera sits in that third person over the shoulder mode. You can control everything with how far on the left or the right your character appears. Like it's like I've tried to include every option imaginable so that you can customize it the way you want to play it, alongside with all the typical sensitivity options and everything else too. So the default controls really try to nail something that I'm hoping folks will enjoy. But you can really just tweak everything to your heart's content as well. And that's all going to be in the full release as well. And honestly, I think there's a good chance the default view in the full release is actually going to be the first person shooter view. We started out as it being fixed camera was the default when Endless Nightmares launched. In the Endless Nightmares big patch, it went to third person over the shoulder as the default view, and I think we're probably heading towards first person shooter being the default view.
I have a question. You said earlier there was precision shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to make it to where headshots against zombies, they take more damage or anything? Because I noticed while I was playing that
like I would pump like 5 headshots into a zombie and he's still coming at me. Like headshots should blow their friggin' head off.
So the short answer is that's already in the game and it's already part of the gameplay systems, but it's not going to be the way that you want it to, because the issue is that when it's a one-shot kill with a handgun on a zombie, it's not challenging at all. There's already a system in place where if you hit them in the head or you hit them in the middle of the torso towards the heart, it actually does inflict extra damage. On the handgun, it's a little bit. On the shotgun, you're going to just blow them away. I'm sure you noticed the shotgun is a one-hit kill in most cases.
Yeah, I like the shotgun.
Yeah, and that's what it is.
I didn't use the shotgun.
You should use the shotgun. There's only 7 bullets, but they're fucking worth it.
Yeah, it sends the enemy just flying across the room, and that's kind of the compromise. And at the end of the day, what I'm trying to create here is an experience that feels like a classic Resident Evil or Silent Hill game. And in those games, you do roll a random headshot that does extreme damage, and in the game you can trigger that as well. But most of the time, you're going to put a couple handgun rounds into the enemy to take them down. But I do want the shotgun that if you're in one of the precision aiming modes and you aim in the upper torso or the head, it's for most enemies, it's a one-shot kill. For some of the advanced enemies, it's going to probably take at least 2, which are the demo just has zombies right now. And that's all just from a gameplay perspective because I can't make it too easy. We actually went through this with Outbreak Epidemic, that a lot of the feedback in that game was people wanted one-shot kills on the enemies when you hit them in the head. And we included a mode to do that on it. And it trivialized the game quite a bit. And I think that there is a little bit of challenge there. And I think it kind of makes it does make the game kind of more of a survival experience when you know you can't just always put something down in one hit, unless you're willing to spend a high value resource like a shotgun shell, for example.
That makes sense. Yeah. I do wish heads would go flying. Is that something that's possible with your engine?
So I'm working on that. Dismemberment is something that's not in the game right now. I do not know if it's going to be in for launch, but that's kind of year over year as the series evolves. It's little features like that keep kind of getting improved. And if it doesn't make it into this title, you will be seeing it at some point in the future in the series because it's important. It's kind of like with the realistic gore in combat to have the blood stick to the walls and the ceilings and have the bodies stick around and stuff. That was something from the beginning that I really wanted to do, and I'm really happy that in this game we're finally getting to that level of graphics fidelity, and that we have hardware like the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S and the PS5 to kind of support that kind of improved graphical effects.
Yeah, I mentioned how shiny everything was at the start of the demo. By the time the demo was over, they needed a floor buffer to clean that place up with how bloody it got. I enjoy the blood splatters everywhere.
Yeah, and that was kind of it's funny. The other idea with the warehouse was that I did want it to start out pretty clean. And kind of full disclosure, this was kind of a demo that was created to let you see a vertical slice of the game really quick in like a 20-minute span. The idea of the progression of the warehouse, though, is more that probably in the final version, you're not going to be coming across a zombie in the first 3 seconds of the game. The idea is that it's kind of that thing where it's well lit. You're kind of walking through it. You're exploring. You have a handgun. You have some ammo. You feel pretty safe. And what I kind of want to happen is as the game progresses, it just gets increasingly out of control for you. And what you're referring to in the demo is there's a point where essentially the lights go out and things kind of accelerate rapidly in terms of combat and the amount of danger that you're in. And I really like that idea of a gameplay element that it kind of starts out where you feel like you're in control and then slowly it just keeps getting ripped away from you forcibly. And you go from feeling really well equipped, really well armed, to just probably running away from the monsters at the end of it. Even though the demo was very plentiful with supplies, I kind of went the route that Resident Evil does with their demos, where they always set it on a fairly easy difficulty and then just give you a ton of ammo. In the full game, it's going to be a little more strict.
Yeah. Except I know we mentioned this on the ID chat. You're going to put a super baby mode in for me with all the weapons.
Enough people have asked for an easy mode that I think probably it's going to take the form of the Resident Evil 3 PS1 easy mode, where probably the first time you come across an item chest, there's going to be some goodies in there to kind of ease the burden of your adventure.
Nice. I enjoyed that in the last game. Did it just start you off with everything, if I'm remembering? It just gave you an inventory full of weapons?
Yeah, I think it gave you the assault rifle and a whole bunch of power weapons, I think with an extreme amount of ammo. And then obviously damage was reduced and some other stuff kind of worked in there.
Rambo mode.
Yeah, exactly. You pretty much just go through guns blazing. And I think that's what we're going to get out of what the easy mode is going to take the form of.
I think you should call it so much leniency mode, SML. That's my awful idea for the episode. So what were you saying, Aki?
I said, easy mode. I like easy mode. There was another thing I liked in this game. The photo mode.
Yes.
I'm not a big proponent of taking actual pictures or anything. However, I use that to kind of cheese where the enemies are, because since you can move it around the entire area. I would just look where all the enemies were in the immediate vicinity. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, now I know where they are. So they could come out and attack me, because the very first zombie, I was doing stuff and it walked right in front of that other girl to get to me. I didn't know it was there until it started attacking me, and it took me from full health down to critical, and that's the only enemy that ever hit me. I was like, I don't want to be surprised like that again.
Sure. I mean, the photo mode's an interesting dilemma. I think really what it comes down to is I very much have always wanted a proper photo mode system in these games. And the photo mode originally debuted with Endless Nightmares. But in Contagious Memories, what happens for anybody who hasn't played it is when you go into photo mode, essentially the whole game simply freezes and you have a free look camera to fly around the environment and take a close look at everything that's going on. And, snap some pictures using the, screenshot key on the keyboard or the screenshotting tools on the PS5 or the Xbox or the Switch. But that's kind of the fun trade-off there is I really want to have something in there that you can take full pictures, because the game has, beautiful mocapped animations, the effects, the combat effects with the blood, the muzzle flashes, all the physics-based stuff with your shells ejecting and stuff and magazines dropping it. You can get some really cool shots. On the other hand, though, you can kind of fly around a bit and see what's going on in the limited area that's loaded at that time. And, I'm just going to leave it up to folks to see how much they want to abuse that or not abuse that while they're playing the game, because I think at the end of the day, it's stronger for having a robust photo mode, and I think folks will have a lot of fun with it.
Aki, you're going to cheese the fuck out of that game, aren't you?
No comments.
And that's fine. Because at the end of the day, you still got to survive the combat, and even if you know an enemy's there, it doesn't really help you too much if you're out of ammo.
True. If you only got a knife, it's going to be a hard-fought battle, no matter what.
Yep.
I used the knife for a while, actually. Even after I got the gun, I kept using the knife for a while.
It's so overpowered. It's going to get toned down in the final version.
Gotta beef it up. And just cut them at the knees, have the legs fly off. On super easy mode, you just hack an arm and it goes flying off. Just extreme giblets everywhere.
Oh, dude, I would love that easy mode and just slash their head and their head explodes all over the place. Oh my God, fantastic.
Well, hopefully we get there one day. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Well, you've gotten really far. I mean, this is what, the 7th game in the series?
It is. Yeah, the series is doing extremely well. I actually just posted a recap on Twitter yesterday, kind of a rundown of what 2021 was in the life of the Outbreak series, and it was a remarkable year. We had everything from the legacy catalog coming to next-gen systems, and those were very well received by players. We had the launch of Endless Nightmares in May, which was by far the most successful title in the series to date. By orders of magnitude. It was on a whole other level compared to anything else before it. We had a physical release from Limited Run Games that I believe went up for pre-order in July and ended in August, which was just beyond awesome to to be able to have a physical product to hold. And, it was the PS4 collection of the first 5 games. And it's really cool that it's a real PS4 game. It was manufactured at where Call of Duty's manufactured, and, everything about it's real. And there's something about being, an indie dev at my size and being able to show a PS4 game.
Well, you're basically a solo dev, aren't you, for the most part?
Yeah, it's just me.
So just to be a solo dev and to have your work in your hand, it's so much different when you make something and you have that physical item. Like, as stupid as it is, I have lip balm for the show, wet pancake lip balm, that I'm so proud of having this stupid little thing, but it means something to me because it's something that, like, you worked hard for, and to have years of your work finally come out and you have a physical collection of that, it's cool to show off. It's cool to have that to show, look what I've done, look what I have.
Absolutely. And honestly, I feel the same way about the physical game. And I mean, it was the other thing that was really rewarding about the experience of working with Limited Run was the demand for the game and how really successful it ended up being as a physical release. And my hope would be that in the future we'll have opportunities to visit other platforms. I get a tremendous amount of messages on Discord, email, over Twitter, folks asking me, when is the Switch version of the collection coming? When is the PS5 version of the collection coming? And even just with the Contagious Memories reveal through the Game Awards earlier this week, it was really heartwarming to see even just like the Limited Run Games Discord light up on their feedback channel asking for a physical release of that on all the systems and, collector's editions and things like that too. So I have to say, as a solo indie dev who's just really kind of been working on this on my own for years, it's wonderful to see that that's the kind of reception that the series is receiving. It's wonderful to see things like the Contagious Memories demo on the Xbox right now. I think in terms of all the other demos, it's leading in terms of the amount of reviews. The score is very positive for it. It's had many thousands of players now just in the last couple of days. It's wonderful to just see the clear response and the excitement from people for what is really a classic survival horror experience at the end of the day. And it makes me very hopeful that the series will continue to grow in 2022 and beyond and just keep expanding.
Do you have future plans for what you want to do with the series? Like, how far out do you have the series planned? Is this like the Marvel Cinematic Universe where you've got years bookmarked of like, I'm going to have a game release here, here, and here. Then we're going to do updates here, here, and here. Anything like that?
Yes. So the way that this works, anybody who's been following the series since 2017, all of the titles are regularly updated. Everything as far back as the original Outbreak received updates, I think, in the last 12 months.
Wow.
With numerous upgrades. We added, even just the split screen co-op modes were added to Outbreak, The New Nightmare, and Epidemic. Those 3 titles were, I think, just a little over 12 months ago. And it's major stuff like that just keeps kind of coming to the series. I've got more updates planned for the legacy titles. I've got, new titles like Contagious Memories, Endless Nightmare System stuff in the pipe that I'm working on. And it's something where when I look at the future here, it's going to be continuing to support the legacy titles because they have a tremendous amount of players playing them. It seems like it's a very small series, but month over month, we have thousands of new players, even on the legacy titles. And in the future, you're going to be looking at new titles like Contagious Memories. And further out from that, I have long-term plans that I'm not going to spoil here, obviously, but
a little taste, a little hint.
There isn't. Well, if you're paying attention to what I'm building, it's very obvious where the end game of the series is, and it's something where if I can find support with a publisher, or find support through Game Pass, through other opportunities, either with platform holders or with a direct publisher, there is a very compelling end game state. I don't even really want to call it the end game because it wouldn't be the end of the series, but there is a very compelling future state that I'm working very hard to get towards that, I believe will be a tremendous property when I find the resources and the time to be able to build it. And the goal is to just keep going and keep growing until I can hit that state. If anybody who is a publisher hears this and wants to reach out to me, I'm happy to discuss opportunities and discuss the success of the series and show that there is. I mean, I've got hard data like you can't believe that there's tremendous demand for this type of gameplay to continue, and I believe that there is a very compelling argument for a greatly enhanced, very a very big jump for the series that, if executed properly, would probably be a massively successful game to the order of millions of units sold easily.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But
so you have plans for this. Like you're ready to buckle down and like focus on Outbreak, aren't you?
Yeah, and I mean, I really should be. This is my full-time career. I'm a full-time solo indie dev, and this series is how I support my family. You know, and I'm very fortunate to be in the position where the property has grown to that size and been that successful that I'm able to work on this day in and day out. You know, and I feel very thankful for that opportunity.
I know there's lots of devs out there who still have to work day jobs to support what they do. And reading through one of your old interviews, I saw that you went into this with zero budget. And this entire series is pretty much just out of your pocketbook in debt. And now you're turning it around and finding an audience and exploding. And I love to see it. Yep.
And that's the truth. And honestly, when even just something like Contagious Memories, the budget for that game is really at $0 at the end of the day. And it's amazing to me how far it's come from a technical and from a gameplay and from a graphics perspective. You know, and the budget's not literally $0, but in the great scheme of things, the budget is still nothing compared to virtually any other game out there, you know, that has a publisher backing or anything like that.
Yeah, it's cool to see. It's really cool to see how the series has grown over the years. We've been following it since the beginning, and it's just really cool to see how it's evolved and how it's grown and how the fan base has grown. Are you considering any different genres for future titles, or are you sticking with survival horror?
Yeah, there's some fun stuff that's going to come along in the next couple of years.
Dating sim?
Oh God, no! Please no.
I don't really want to say too much now, but there's some ridiculous stuff that's gotten kicked around that's definitely going to happen at some point. So it's, you know, I think the core of the series, the mainline releases, will always be survival horror because that's kind of what the DNA of the series is, and it's what sets it apart from every other game out there. I mean, at the end of the day, you would not want to play these games if they played like Gears of War, if they played like Call of Duty or something, right? Where you're just mowing down zombies and there's, you know, you have gigantic guns and you're like an unstoppable force. The reason why this series is successful is because this type of gameplay loop really doesn't exist anymore, except in very either niche cases, and you very rarely see it from a modern publisher. I mean, the closest we've seen to a classic survival horror experience is probably the Resident Evil 2 remake, and even that was very action oriented at the end of the day. So I think, you know, mainline titles will be very much survival horror. I do think we're going to see some wacky spin-offs, though, as time goes on.
So a dating sim is possible.
Yeah. I mean, it's just as possible as a pinball game.
Ooh, that would be fun, too.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is
get in touch with Zen Studios about that one.
what does survival horror pinball look like?
Well, there is a Walking Dead pinball table in Pinball FX.
There's a couple older zombie tables too, if I remember correctly. I think so, but they're like old at this point. They're like 1999-ish type old.
Oh, that's like back hurts old.
Yeah, they're most of the zombie ones that I can think of. They're old at this point.
99. That's when I graduated. If you want to feel old, that's when 99. Yeah, my back hurts.
I don't feel old because I didn't graduate then. That's you feel old, you old fuck.
I do.
I'm almost a decade younger than you. I'm good.
Oh man. So what kind of genres could Outbreak branch out into? Obviously you could go more action oriented route, which is what Resident Evil seems to be doing. What kind of crazy offshoot genres would be possible in this universe?
I mean, it's really at the end of the day, it's really anything. There's no limitation on where it can go. For upcoming projects, I definitely have some very clear ideas of side genres I want to go into. I just don't want to spoil them right now. But at the end of the day, I don't think you should be really too surprised if you see really anything kind of pop up from the series. It really could be anything.
So you're going to keep us on our toes.
Pretty much. I mean,
Cool.
At the end of the day, what I'm here to really discuss is Contagious Memories. And I mean, it's, looking into the future, that's what's really next for the series. And I think it's important to note, really how far that title has come, even over just things like, the Nightmare Chronicles or over Endless Nightmares. In the sense that it has full voice acting across the game. It has full real-time cutscenes. It has, it really has all the, basic gameplay elements and tropes from those classic survival horror experiences that everybody loves. And I'm really excited to kind of now build one of those complete adventures with all of that gameplay in place, with the limited saving, with the linked storage caches, with, trying to keep folks on their toes, with some areas feel very safe and you feel well armed, and then, just sending everything into kind of a tailspin on you.
Have all that ripped away from you.
Exactly. And that's what's fun. And you're going to see things like new enemies in the title as well. It's things like there are some classic survival horror enemies that have not popped up in the series yet that you're now going to finally have to face in this game, that have different gameplay loops that I think are going to really throw some people off. I'm just it's really an exciting title because it's going to be the most complete realization of kind of the vision that I started out with something like Outbreak or Outbreak: The New Nightmare, where it has everything of a classic survival horror experience, and then it also puts a twist on it because you can play the entire game in optional 2-player co-op, which is something you never really could do in Resident Evil 2 or 3.
Very true. They brought that in 5. They brought co-op.
Yeah, I think it was around 5 that it kind of started. But,
and even still, that was an action heavy game. So that was just like a co-op shooter game. It wasn't a co-op survival horror.
In many ways, it wasn't. And I mean, this is going to be the full story campaign, which is very puzzle oriented, as you even saw in the demo. A lot of the breaks in the action were solving environmental puzzles and kind of things like that. And I think it's fun to bring a friend along for those adventures and a little extra firepower.
Will we eventually be seeing online co-op on consoles?
Yeah, I mean, that's something I would love to do today. And the bottom line is that it is very resource intensive to support online co-op for a platform or for a product that's being shipped. I ship these products to virtually every major platform. They're on Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC. And it is no small task to support full online net play across those systems. And once they finally do get online net play, the next thing people are going to ask for is crossplay.
Yeah.
And that's something where, when we talk about what's holding the series back right now, well, it's looking for publisher support. It's looking for, support from a platform holder, things like that would provide the resources to enable things like that. So I'd love to do it today. But it's the reality of the situation of being a one-man show, working with an extremely limited budget. You've got to be very pragmatic on what is included and what's not, because feature creep is a very real killer of products and businesses at my size. And if you're not careful, you can get yourself into a pretty bad situation pretty fast. So.
Yeah, we have some friends who they actually announced their game when our show first started, and they're still working on it. And and it's just one of those things where they seem to overpromise what they were doing, and they got caught up in it, and now they're trying to work out of that hole and get back in the positive and get the game out, which hopefully will be next year. They sent out a Kickstarter update saying hopefully next year. But it's impressive when I see my friends struggling to get those games out, and you have 7 out. That is insane. You are a workhorse. It is impressive.
I'll tell you my secret. I disappoint everyone, and I mean it's as funny as that is. It's the honest truth. Is people, I get messages spanning the whole spectrum of people who are very happy with the games and excited about them, and people who, in very unpolite terms, ask me to stop what I'm doing immediately and please go away. But the common thread, and I'm being very, very nice to that latter crowd in how I'm describing them, but the common theme is that everybody, if they like the games, they don't like the games, is asking things like, well, where's feature X? Where's feature Y? Why is this not slightly better? And the reality of that is that you have to be pragmatic on what you include. You have to be pragmatic in the project scope, and you cannot needlessly expand it, because you can get into a situation where you're simply just not shipping product then. And at a business my size, if I can't ship product, we're not going to make it to the next step. So, when somebody comes to me and says, well, why don't you spend 5 years building the next Outbreak game? The reality is you'll never see another Outbreak game again. But by focusing on kind of like iterative development in the way that I do it, where every year you've got a new Outbreak product to play and the legacy products continue to get updated, it keeps that constant rhythm going to help it both grow, to keep it relevant, and to iteratively get towards that kind of future end state that we talked about earlier. Is because in my mind, I'm going to get there in one of two ways. Either one day major publisher support comes through, which would be just the greatest moment ever. But if that never happens, I'm going to keep just building a small staircase to get to that end state, And unfortunately, along the way, some people will be disappointed. But, looking at the fact that the series has had well past tens of thousands of players, that 2021 was the strongest year for the series yet by an exponential margin. There are plenty of people out there who really do seem to understand and want to support the direction the series is going. And I'm, very thankful for those folks to keep coming back year after year to help the series grow. And I think showing something like Endless Nightmares off and showing off the stuff that you guys are going to be able to see in the next couple of months shows that maybe, you don't always get there every year, but the iterative approach keeps growing. And the stuff that I'm going to be delivering in 2022, when compared to a product like the new Nightmare, which was a lot of fun, but was not really a graphical showcase, wasn't really a performance showcase, is a night and day difference. It's huge graphics upgrades. It's 60 frames per second on all platforms. It's, it's stuff like that, we're eventually getting there.
It's rideable floor buffers.
Yeah, rideable floor buffers. Really just the shiniest floors in the industry.
Exactly. Oh, they're so pretty until the blood happens.
Yeah, but then the blood gets shiny, and then it looks even better. But that's kind of the short answer: is just disappoint everyone every year and keep going.
Hey, you can't please everyone all the time. Right?
You can't please anyone anytime.
True. Gamers, you can't please at all ever. And I think that is something though that indie devs need to understand, is that there's not going to be a parade at any point. And I think that people get discouraged when they're kind of making their first game or something like that, and it releases, and you get some non-supportive comments out there, and people are just kind of like, well, why would I put up with this? And I think that is one of the things to be an indie developer, is you've got to be able to pick out the constructive criticism from those comments and just kind of keep going. Focus on the positives and just keep charging ahead. It's definitely, your game series has definitely been a love it or hate it series. I was looking at the reviews for the demo on the marketplace, and it's either 1s or 5s, nothing in the middle.
And that's how it's been the entire series. There's nobody who 3 stars it and says, yeah, it was all right. You either you get it or you don't. And fortunately, the number of people who get it and support it have vastly, from a size perspective, vastly outnumber the people who do not get it and are very vocal about it. And I have people come to me and say, like, wow, the reviews really just aren't like, it's not getting 9 out of 10s from every major outlet. And it's like, yeah, it's not designed to. It's designed to, call back to an era that we just really can't play games from anymore. We don't get any new content, and there's people who truly value it. And thankfully they vastly outnumber the people who don't.
Yeah, Carnage in chat saying it's not supposed to be a AAA game, and some people are just so ignorant that they expect everything to be a AAA blockbuster, despite the fact that it's not a $60 game. Your games have always been like, what, $15-20 more affordable?
They were $5 at the beginning. The first Xbox release for the 2D game was $5. And I mean, that's the other thing too, is I'm not going to walk up to the Contagious Memories is not going to come out next year, and it's going to be $60 because it's not a game that I think really commands a price point at that. But what has commanded a price point, and what I've received a lot of feedback on, is that when you go to buy the whole series, when you go to buy a grouping of the titles, people who spend $60 for all the legacy titles, for example, that's one of the bundles on Xbox, is a kind of a good example. That's reviewed very well, and people reach out to me and say this was great. It was great value. I had a lot of fun with the titles, and that's kind of the secret to it as well. Is that I'm never going to go and charge $60 for one title, but the series together is worth more than the sum of its parts. And that's been another key thing of how I've been able to support the series is those series bundles and things like that as they grow. And we'll see more of those in the future with Contagious Memories. But the feedback, I don't really receive universally positive feedback, but the feedback that I've received on the bundles has been the most positive I've ever received for anything across the series.
Carnage says we need an Outbreak Battle Royale. Should we ban him?
I don't even know what that would be. You were asking me kind of like what genres are off the table. That's actually a genre that I don't think I'd be able to tell you really what that is. I think if you want that, doesn't Call of Duty do an awesome zombie battle royale thing with like 100 players or something?
Oh, I don't know. I don't play Call of Duty. I suck at shooters.
Neither do I, but I saw pictures of it and it looked like it was a big zombie mode.
I don't know. I prefer to stick to the real zombie games instead of Call of Duty. So you mentioned before about the physical release on PS4 and possibility of a collector's edition. If you had your way, what would be in your collector's edition?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm happy to talk about this because I love the idea of physical products in the future. And what I will say to people I get people asking me every day, where's PS5, where's Switch, where's Endless Nightmares, where's the collector's editions and stuff like that. To anybody who's listening who's been asking me that, believe me, I am advocating for that. And the best thing fans can do is continue to reach out to folks like Limited Run to constructively share their desire and interest for them, and to show that there is a strong demand for them. And to be clear, fans did show up with the PS4 release and make a very strong case that there is demand. So I'm very thankful to everybody who reached out. But when you talk about what is a collector's edition for an Outbreak physical release, I'll tell you what that is. I view it as a grouping of the titles, something like the collection, but probably expanded from that. I would love to do a hardcover, leather-bound book, basically containing all or maybe a lot of the different notes and story items across the games. One of the big things across my titles is that there's little sub-stories told through like collectible memos and things like that, which is a very traditional survival horror trope. And I've now written several books across the games if you go and find all the notes, to the point that I even did a World War Z style book in Endless Nightmares. That's what the collectible is finding all the pages to something. It's like a 240 page set of like 24 short stories or something like that. I'd love to get all that content together with some concept art, put it into a leather-bound book. I've had a lot of demand for that item, and I think it would be a really compelling, unique item to set the collector's edition apart. I would love to do things like plushies. I've had a lot of people ask me for character plushies. I've had a lot of people ask me for zombie plushies. I think that would be kind of fun to include.
Whatever the hell that zombie monster is on the Contagious Memories promo art with the arm coming out of its mouth, I want a plushie of that fucking thing.
So do I. And you are not alone. That plushies are something I get asked for a lot. And I'm like, believe me, I'm advocating as strongly as I can. It is not trivial to manufacture plushies. And then steelbooks is the other thing that I get asked for constantly is when are we going to get an awesome steelbook for the, usually it's in the context of, will the PS4 release ever get a steelbook or something like that? Or, I'd love to do an awesome steelbook, with it as well. And, there's a few other little goodies I have ideas for to include. But I think that, a collector's edition would be really awesome. And believe me, if there's ever any opportunity for it to happen, I will do my best to make it happen.
Nice. If a collector's edition does happen with a plushie and a book and all that, try to convince them to release it on Xbox. I know Xbox doesn't get a lot of limited edition stuff, but I would love to get an Outbreak on Xbox physical.
So, I believe that this is public on their Twitter. I believe they actually just announced it. I think it's Knights of the Old Republic is their first game that Limited Run is doing. That I think in the picture there was an Xbox box in that. But they talk about it on Twitter, so this isn't like nothing about this I think is super special or secret news because it's been posted on Twitter multiple times now from them. But yeah, that's something that I would love to see too as a proper Series XS release for the entire series. I think that if you got all 7 games together, including Contagious Memories on Xbox, with their smart delivery versions for the ones that support smart delivery, and then just the next gen releases for the other ones, I think that could be a really compelling collection. And I think a collector's item there or a collector's edition there would be very cool too. But at the end of the day, if folks are interested about this, please be vocal on Twitter in a polite and constructive way. Which it's odd that I need to state that, but please keep it polite and constructive. That you have an interest in physical releases on different platforms. You have an interest in collector's editions. Feel free to go to the Limited Run Games Discord. They have a feedback channel that's usually pretty full of Outbreak stuff lately, which has been always heartwarming to see that you can upvote for things like that. There's actually a whole bunch of feedback points in their feedback channel that are Outbreak related for things that we're discussing right now. So please do be sure to share your feedback on those with them. It's awesome if you tell it to me and I can try to relay it, but it means a lot more if you go straight to the source on these things and politely communicate that.
I know something else you've been pushing for is you want to see your games on Game Pass. How does that work? Is that something that you're in control of? Is that something Microsoft's in control of? Is there a program you could be a part of?
Yeah, I'm going to purposely be extraordinarily vague. So whenever we discuss platform-related stuff like this, basically my response is going to be that it's really not a point of discussion that we're going to have. But what I will say is that I have been advocating strongly for the series to appear in some way on Game Pass, and I feel that Contagious Memories would be a fantastic title to launch on Game Pass when it comes out. I think the strong showing in terms of reviews, the scores, the number of players, the demo shows that there's interest there. And I'm very appreciative of Xbox for allowing it to be included with this event. And my hope would be that it will, there will be opportunities to have it featured in the future in different ways as well. And that, I will do everything in my power to advocate for a Game Pass release and to get the series on Game Pass, because what I've found is that the most common piece of feedback I get from people is that I get these emails that say, "Hey, I just came across your series. This is really cool. I'm really excited to play them all, and I'm having fun with what I'm playing. I had no idea this existed." And it's funny in the sense that one of the things that is holding back this series is sheer visibility. Is the fact that I don't have a marketing arm, right? I can't blanket the internet with stuff like this. And it's funny that that is a very frequent email that I get is like, "This is really cool. I had no idea this existed until 15 seconds ago. And this series has been out for, 5-6 years or wherever we're at right now." And my only response is to stuff like that is awesome. I'm so happy you're having fun. And I'm doing my best to actually tell people that this exists. And I think something like Game Pass is a very good opportunity to just kind of get it out there and get people to know that it exists. And what I found is the more people that are aware of this series, it seems to exponentially grow. Getting a full Endless Nightmares is a great example, which was the most recent release. It launched worldwide for the most part, day and date on all of the major platforms that I possibly could release on console and PC. And it was the most successful title ever released for the game by just a ridiculous margin. And I think that something like Game Pass can help, further solidify that visibility and help it grow. And I think that really it's just going to kind of be an unstoppable juggernaut the more and more visibility that it gets. And that's why I'm so optimistic for the future. So if you're interested in seeing the series on Game Pass, please do not hesitate to reach out to the Game Pass, Twitter account, ID at Xbox, politely and constructively make your interest known. And I have to believe people pay attention to comments like that, and I'll keep doing what I can do.
Well, hopefully they pay attention. I would love to see it on Game Pass. I think Game Pass is an absolutely incredible addition to Microsoft's arsenal. We constantly talk about how good Game Pass is on this show. We frequently highlight what's coming to it and constantly just We probably talk too much about Game Pass, really. Probably.
I honestly, I would say you probably don't, because to me, Game Pass is a very like as a gamer, as both a developer and a gamer. But I'm speaking more as a gamer at this point. Game Pass is revolutionary for me in the sense that it allows me to try titles that I'm not ready to make an upfront financial commitment for. However, I am more than happy to pay my Game Pass subscription for Game Pass Ultimate, and will continue to do so. Probably for eternity at this point, because it's an incredible value. But it's when thinking of it as a gamer, as things that I probably would have never been willing to do the upfront payout for to try. I found gems on there that I've absolutely enjoyed in the small amount of time that I have to actually sit down and play games. And I think when you think now about really what does Game Pass mean for independent developers like myself, it's that it's lowering that bar to give it a shot, and it's also lowering the bar to. It lowers the chance of there being resentment too. I always feel bad when somebody buys a game full price and says to me, I really didn't enjoy that, and I kind of, wish I had gone a different way with that. And there's not a whole lot I can do for that person except, listen to their feedback and try to act on it in the future. But Game Pass is really cool where somebody, like, let's just say if Contagious Memories were on Game Pass, there's no bar to trying it. You can try it. If you love it, which I think a lot of people will end up loving it, they're going to probably get latched onto the series. If it ends up not being your thing, which is fine because it's retro survival horror, you're not going to walk away feeling resentful from that encounter. And honestly, you'll probably be more open to trying another title in the future. And I think that thinking about myself as an independent developer and thinking about other independent developers, I see that as just a win-win for everybody, from the consumer, for the platform holder, for the developer. And that in many ways is why I'm very excited by Game Pass, and I hope the series finds an opportunity to be there sooner than later.
Yeah, I'm pulling for you. I hope it shows up on Game Pass. I think that would be awesome. You mentioned that you found some cool titles on Game Pass. What are you playing? What are you enjoying?
It's honestly, it's silly stuff that you even probably wouldn't have thought of. Like, this one's kind of funny. I didn't know that there was a Day of the Tentacle remaster. That game's awesome. And I was literally on Game Pass. This must have been a couple months ago. And there's an icon for Day of the Tentacle remastered. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, that's incredible. I had no idea. And Double Fine is not, like, they're not a small operation. They are marketing, but it's even just kind of an example where Day of the Tentacle maybe is probably a pretty niche title. I mean, maybe people don't want to play a point and click game. But it's just having that icon there. I'm somebody who wanted to play that game, and I didn't even know that it was there until I saw the little icon. And it's even stuff like talking about like Hades that everyone's raving about. I didn't know if it was my kind of game. And just there's no barrier to clicking on it and saying, hey, I'm going to give this a shot. And just smaller indie stuff. Whenever I see an indie game on there, I just try to boot it up and play it a little bit. To support other indie developers, but also just because I'm curious, because I honestly probably would not have tried it otherwise, and I want to really keep an open mind and find new cool things to play. And I scroll through Game Pass just randomly, just clicking on stuff, and I usually end up having a lot of fun.
Well, they're mentioning in chat if you like Day of the Tentacle, Full Throttle and Grim Fandango are on there as well.
So those are awesome games. I played the originals, obviously, but I think it's awesome that we're seeing modern ports of games like that. I need Sam & Max Hit the Road to get a modern console port very quickly. So if you know anybody at I don't know, who would it be at this point? Who even owns that property? Is it Telltale? Man.
I don't think it's Telltale. There's actually Sam & Max Beyond Time and Space it just got re-released, I think, this week. So Hit the Road might be in the future.
That'd be awesome. And like if you got me like super high res pixel artwork or something, or just like even if you remade the visual, I mean, Day of the Tentacle Remastered looks fantastic. So I think this whole podcast should just be about we need a Sam & Max Hit the Road release. I think that's probably the most important thing. And if that could get on Game Pass, that'd be awesome.
Carnage saying it's Skunkape Games. Apparently they're the ones with control of Sam & Max right now. So hit up Skunkape Games and tell them something about Outbreak, I guess, and that we want Sam & Max.
Yes, tell them Outbreak wants Sam & Max. Just send that message to them. I'm sure they'll know exactly.
They'll know exactly what's going on.
Outbreak wants Sam & Max.
They listen to the show frequently. They'll know what's up.
I guess give Outbreak a first. John Outbreak. I don't know.
John Outbreak.
John Outbreak is looking for Sam and Max hit the road. Please put it on Game Pass. I don't know what else to say.
Oh man. Well, John Outbreak, I know you've been chatting with us for a while. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about with the game that we didn't bring up?
No, I hopefully I had a good opportunity earlier to sell it. I just think it's honestly, it's my take on if somebody like me tried to build a adventure in the scope and the play style of something like Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil 3 on the PS1 or Silent Hill 2, a little bit of Alone in the Dark's in there too. And it's, I honestly think it's a landmark title in the series. I think it is the realization of a lot of what the core visions were when I started developing these back in, development, I think was early 2015, if not a little earlier than that. And I am extremely proud of that title and that demo. I'm really pleased that it has the highest graphics fidelity of the series. It has physical based, environment effects, blood and gore, bullets ricocheting off the walls, clips falling, and it runs at 60. It targets 60 frames per second on every console the demo's out on right now. And it even looks great. If you go back and play it on an Xbox One, it runs at 720p, but it still looks great and it runs great. And I'm really excited the demo is very limited in terms of the areas that you visit in it. I'm really excited for people to see, some of the additional areas that you're going to explore in it. And there's been a bonus mode that a lot of people have asked me for. And I don't want to spoil too much because it's not a one-to-one remake of a mode that I think a lot of classic survival horror people routinely reference. But if you played the Resident Evil 3 remake and you were upset that a certain bonus mode wasn't there, I've got something for you to play in a couple months that I think you're going to really like.
I like the tease.
Yeah,
there's the tease.
It was my favorite bonus mode, and I am very interested in doing the type of gameplay that was there some justice.
Nice. Well, we will have to find out more about that in the future. When do you expect the game to release?
Let's say there's a lot of stuff going on right now in the next month that is going to heavily influence when the actual release date is. So let's just say you'll probably be hearing about it middle of 2022. Might be earlier.
Summer, spring, summer, something like that.
Yeah, somewhere in there. It could be in the spring, winter, fall, or summer of 2022.
That narrows it down.
I think it's pretty good, but I have a really good idea of what 4 possible release dates are for it, and I'm just honestly waiting to see how some stuff kind of works out in the next month or so, and we'll see where it ends up. But I will be very vocal about it when the time comes, so don't worry.
Nice,
because I am very excited for this game. There's a lot of fun stuff that folks are going to see that I think they're going to be really happy with.
Well, hopefully we can help spread the word when it's time to go. Aki, sure. Did you have any other questions you wanted to ask?
I don't think so. I think
cool.
I asked all the questions I had at the beginning.
Oh man!
I just enjoy the game. I don't really think of much. I just play until I win.
That's a good motto for the show. We don't really think.
I have some questions. If we've still got a minute here.
Yeah.
When are we getting a Final Fantasy IX remake?
Oh God, hasn't there been rumors of that?
I need that. That's a thing that I need. And if you guys have any way to make that happen, that'd be great.
We don't.
I'm still waiting for 7 to come over to fucking Xbox. So trust me, if I had that power, they'd all be remade and they'd be on Xbox by now.
What wasn't the 7 remake? Wasn't that PS only title? I don't remember.
No, it had a 1-year exclusivity, and then when they brought out the new tiny bit of DLC, they re-upped the whole thing for another year because they're.
I think it was only 6 months when they re-upped it. I think it was just an extra 6 months. So supposedly we should be able to get it soon, but who knows?
They'll just come out with another DLC and say, "Yeah, no, another 6 months." They're dicks. You're
gonna find out what Vincent's up to this time. Where was Vincent during the bombing mission? Let's
actually, Vincent was one of my favorite characters.
I know he's cool. I'm just trying to think of characters that
that had nothing to do with the bombing mission. That we're gonna find out what they're doing.
He's in Midgar now, and he's got a brand new board game for you guys to play. I don't know.
Fucking board game. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, just yeah. So I really like a Final Fantasy IX remake. While I'm making demands here, I'd really like a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake on I don't know, whatever a modern engine is nowadays. But get on that, guys, if you can. I really need both of those things.
I'll work on it. I'll do what I can.
Good.
Oh, man. Well, Evan, it has been awesome having you on the show finally. Everyone else, we're going to take a quick break. We will be back with more show in a little bit. Jacob will be here. Aren't you excited, Aki? You don't have to answer that. You don't have to answer that. Yeah, we're going to take a quick break, listen to some Christmas music. We will be right back with more show. Evan, do you have any final words to wrap this up?
No, just that everybody please check out Outbreak Contagious Memories. Check out the rest of the series, and if you like what you see, be vocal, but polite for physical releases and anything else you may want to see out there. Show that there's interest, and keep showing it because it's been awesome to see it so far.
Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas, everyone! I hope you've been good this year. What do you mean you don't believe in Santa Claus? Well, maybe I don't believe in you. Oh, I'm just teasing. I'm Santa Claus. I believe in everybody. Ho ho ho! Seriously, that's kind of a dick move. Just telling someone you don't believe in them. Look, I'm sorry, okay? It's been a rough year. Mrs. Claus is, I think she's seeing one of the elves. I don't know. Merry Christmas.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for sticking around. Another huge thanks to Evan Wolbach of Dead Drop Studios for coming on and chatting with us about Outbreak and all of that fun stuff. That's good stuff, wasn't it, Aki?
Yeah.
You were there. You should know. That's all you got to say? That just, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, are you excited because Jacob's here?
No.
Yeah, I was going to say, Aki is automatically less excited.
Yeah.
So how's everyone doing? Jacob, how's things going? You weren't here for the first half of the show, but you're here now. So how's things going?
It's going okay, I guess. I mean, I've been in charge of the kids for the last 3 days because my wife has been out in Chicago doing work. So.
And you can't go to MagFest? That's not fair. You should get to go to MagFest and join our panel because we're going to have a panel. I'm going to have a panel at MagFest.
Why?
To talk about the early days of MagFest with a bunch of other people who've been to every MagFest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying you were having one for SML and I was really fucking confused.
It is for SML. It's going to be a podcast recording. Yeah.
But it's also documenting MagFest history.
Yes, it's a dual purpose event.
Okay.
And no one's going to care about either purpose.
Probably not.
No.
Well, you never know. It might become a worthwhile document 100 years from now.
No, it won't.
There's going to be so many better documentaries for that than this.
Hey, I'm just saying, there is a library. I forget. I think it's University of Austin, Texas, or whatever it is. They actually have an archives now that's just video game related shit, and they ended up getting everything from Origin's offices before they shut down. So maybe you could just donate. You could donate all of the podcast stuff, and then they'll just be thanks, but no thanks.
On death, give to University of whatever. And they'll be Dying Wish? No, I can't.
No, we deleted the flash drive. Is there another one? No? Oh,
I fell in the toilet and I got flushed? Oh, poopies. What an unfortunate accident.
Janitorial staff is away.
Unfortunate accident. You know what else was an unfortunate accident? The Game Awards.
Unfortunate accident the whole entire time.
Oh my God, I hated the Game Awards this year.
I don't. See, that's your own fault for watching it.
I have to because I have to document everything that goes on so that we could discuss it on the show and talk news.
Well, why didn't you just like pay attention to Twitter the whole entire time? That way, like some other schmuck could have watched it, and then you just watch all the trailers and you're like, oh yay!
Because my other option was the Steelers game and they got blown out.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's harsh.
You know, if they learned to play football in the first half, they would have been okay.
That's putting it mildly.
Yeah.
Honestly, I really just wish the Steelers would I just wish they'd stop. Just stop. Just cut your losses. Just stop playing for the rest of the season. You're not going to make it to the playoffs.
I don't think they're allowed to just stop playing.
Yeah, they can. They totally can. No, if any, like I've also heard that supposedly they're going to stop having Roethlisberger start, and they're just going to have one of the other guys so they could see what he's doing.
Yeah, it makes sense. I guess Ben's hanging it up after the season, so.
Well, he's either leaving the Steelers, or he's either retiring, or he's just going to move to another team, because I really think the Steelers aren't going to have him back. And to be honest, I wish they would have gotten rid of him years ago.
He still has his moments, but no one cares about football. We're talking way too much about football. We got to talk about the Game Awards that no one cares about.
Shut up! I have an opinion.
I love you got that from just one yep from me.
Yeah, but you're always just like yep. Like I mean, anything that comes out of my mouth, you don't give a shit about. So.
Well, not usually, but sometimes. Occasionally you have something interesting to say.
No, he doesn't.
That I immediately start ignoring.
Yeah, because usually it's because of like, oh, Aki, that's a good point. Yep.
Yeah, usually I don't pay attention to that either.
Anyway, no, like honestly, like my thing is that if the Steelers want to pretend that they are as much of a moral team, like with conduct of players and stuff like that, Roethlisberger should have been out fucking years ago. Like, yeah, sure, it's great that like he settled down and like stopped grabbing college girls' asses. But honestly, the first or second time like he got hit with like sexual assault accusations, the Steelers should have been like, you're fucking gone. Like, he should have been fucking gone, out. But instead, they've hung on to him for all these years. And not only that, but also, like, the last, 4 years, he's really not been that good. Like, so, yeah.
We're getting into nobody cares territory right now.
Joe, yeah. I swear to God. I already got Aki telling me that. I don't need your crap, too.
Yep.
So the Game Awards, got to go over everything that happened at the Game Awards.
All right, can we just be like, yo, Sonic 2 looks crazy awesome. Everything else can whatever.
No, we got to go over the Game Awards. There's a lot of stuff that happened at the Game Awards. It's not all just Sonic movie news, Jacob.
Oh God, I'm about to become Aki and just be like, yep.
What?
No,
I heard my name.
I was excited because they started off with a trailer of Tunic, which I've been very excited for.
I've been waiting for that too. Wasn't that supposed to come out last year?
It was supposed to come out a long time ago, but it finally got a release date, March 16th, so it's just around the corner.
Is it still on Xbox?
Yes.
Oh, yes. I want to review that.
We'll see what happens. Games for Impact Award went to Life is Strange True Colors, which was cool.
I can go with that. That was reasonable.
And then they showed a King of Fighters video that no one cared about, and then they announced the Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game.
I'm intrigued by that.
I was until I heard it was a multiplayer horror game.
Yeah, that's what killed it for me.
Well, so much for that then.
From the guys who made Friday the 13th.
Yeah, no. God.
Maybe they actually got the licensing correct this time.
Who knows?
I don't care if they did or not. I still ain't interested.
Yeah, they showed a video for Homeworld 3, which is coming Q4 to Epic and Steam. And then they announced The Expanse, a Telltale series based on the Amazon show, which I have not seen.
It's apparently really, really good.
I watched half of the first season. I enjoyed what I watched, but at the same time, that's back when it was on Sci-Fi, so it had a budget of slightly better than Mystery Science Theater 3000. Yeah, I've heard it's really good though.
I follow a lot of science people on YouTube, and they all watch that damn show, and they all love it because it's really factually based.
Yeah, I heard it actually gets the science correct.
Yeah, so I've never actually watched it though. It's one of a million other shows that I still haven't watched.
I might have to check it out sometime. Something I'm not going to check out is Babylon's Fall from Square Enix and Platinum Games because I think it looks terrible. It's coming out March 3rd. They showed a video for it. I didn't realize at first it was like a 4-player multiplayer thing, and that killed all interest I have in it.
Yeah, I didn't even see that one. That was not anywhere that I saw.
No, it's because it's PlayStation
mentioned.
only.
Oh,
PlayStation, PC.
Oh, I was looking up from digital trends, actually. I looked up all the information from there just because they were the first one on Bing. So,
no, that works. There was a video for Chivalry 2. They have a free weekend this weekend, and updates are going to be coming in 2022, including the ability to, raid sheep.
What sheep?
Raid.
Oh, okay.
Raid villages, take people and sheep and chickens and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that.
Get your mind out of the gutter, Aki. They showed an expansion pack for Monster Hunter Rise called Sunbreak. It's coming out summer 2022. It's an expansion pack that will require Monster Hunter Rise. It's not a new game, but there will be 3 new amiibo coming out, which, believe it or not, I don't care about because I sold my amiibo collection.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I sold my amiibo collection.
For real?
Yeah.
Did you get your
Holy
shit?
Shit.
No, he said he's going to mail it probably next week because he's on vacation and out of town. So hopefully next week I hear about him mailing my shit and I get my shit in return for the shit I sent him. And
what shit are you getting?
Well, I got $750 in cash.
Nice.
And then once the guy returns from his vacation, he's going to be mailing me a Switch Lite and 10 games.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Now, did you sell all of your amiibos?
All of them. All gone.
Wow. I never thought I'd ever see you get rid of them fucking things.
Yep. They are gone. I even got rid of my Ness amiibo, but that's only because I have a second one. So I kept that one.
Every once in a while, I'm like, oh, I should go pick up the Mega Man ones because, I like Mega Man, but there's so many other things I could spend $10 or $20 on.
Yeah. I made sure to use my Metroid Dread amiibo on Metroid Dread before I gave them away, though.
That's a smart idea.
So I could get the extra power pack and missile pack, and I'm good. They announced a game called Thirsty Suitors. Aki, I know you want this one.
Yes, that was so cute.
It looked like a mix between dating, cooking, fighting, and skating.
Yeah, I'm so for that. The trailer was so cute.
I was so confused, but it looks so cool.
I surprisingly wasn't, but I've watched a lot of Bollywood stuff, so.
Oh, there you go. They had a new gameplay trailer for Evil West, which is coming 2022 to everything. There was a trailer for an early access game called Have a Nice Death, which is coming out in March, or hitting early access March 2022.
I like the graphics, but that's not particularly.
I don't even remember that one. There's so many games here that I don't remember because the award show, it just went on forever.
Yeah, how long was it? Because I checked
3.5
at 1
hours.
a.m.
3.5 hours.
So they were just running it over and over then.
Yeah.
Okay. Oy vey.
Yeah. Everything, all the games just seemed to blend together. There were so many third-person shooters, action shooters. They just all blended together. There were very little standout games for me. But best audio design went to Forza Horizon 5, so that was a good call.
I can understand that one.
There was a video for the game Planet of Lana coming from Thunderful and Wishfully coming out 2022 to Xbox and Steam. That one looked pretty good.
I never saw those ones. Fuck.
It was cute. This was during the pre-show, actually. We're still going over pre-show stuff. The final bit from the pre-show was they announced Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. Not Persona 4 Golden for console. Nope. Just another fighting game for Switch, PS4, and Steam, coming out March 17th. No Xbox because Atlas hates us.
Yeah, pretty much.
Best independent game and best debut indie both went to Kena, Bridge of Spirits, which I learned is pronounced Kena and not Kena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of people had a stick up their ass about people saying that name wrong.
Whatever. Then they showed like a 6-minute long video for Hellblade 2, which blew my dick off. It looked amazing.
I really want that, but I'm really confused as where they're going with this series. Because like the first game, it's all about she has schizophrenia and it's just her dealing with that. Now she has other people following her and fighting with her against gods, and she clearly still has schizophrenia because she's still hearing the voices. But it's like, is she just leading a bunch of crazy people on a revolt against rocks, or what the fuck?
We'll find out. But that trailer was insane. And apparently the whole thing was gameplay footage, like in-engine gameplay footage, not a pre-rendered cutscene.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing with some of that stuff. It was so visually impressive. If this is what the current generation is going to bring to us, bring it the fuck on. So
yeah. Very much so. Oh, I love it.
They announced a new game called Star Wars Eclipse from Lucasfilm and Quantic Dream.
Yeah, I couldn't. I saw the trailer, but it didn't tell me fucking anything.
No, it didn't say shit at all. It's just, it looked cool, but they didn't. It's very early development. They didn't announce any platforms. But yeah, it's a thing. If
it's going to be a single player thing, I am so fucking on board. If it's going to be another fucking like Battlefield type game, then it can go fuck itself.
It's Quantic Dream, and they focus in like narrative heavy adventure stuff. So I don't see it being a multiplayer action game.
Good. Then I am excited for that now because it's more Star Wars.
My only concern is based on Quantic Dream's history, will it be a PlayStation exclusive?
No.
I don't know.
I'd be surprised at this point, but
I need more Star Wars in my life.
Who knows? Knights of the Old Republic is going to be a timed exclusive on PlayStation, so you never know.
PlayStation, you're a dick.
Bethesda did a commercial, and they gave away just hundreds of free promo codes. Did you see that commercial?
I didn't see the commercial, but I saw someone post.
Like it was just scrolling, screenshot, like just code after code after code for all platforms. I got Fallout 76, so yay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was free, so fuck it. I was quick enough to enter a code.
Sorry.
Free is free. I can't argue. Wonder Woman game got announced from Warner Brothers and Monolith.
I don't know how I feel about that. Like, if that was before the last movie, I'd be so excited. But that last movie that came out for Wonder Woman, I don't really want anything particularly to do with Wonder Woman right now.
I don't think it has anything to do with the movies, does it?
Not that
I don't know.
Nobody actually knows.
No.
Like, I would assume it's not, though.
All they did was show like images of her. So there's.
That's the thing. Like, all it was just random shit. Like, there was no release date. There was no like, oh, this is what it's about. It's just, here's Wonder Woman kicking some ass.
And that was the problem with so much of the stuff they showed. It was just trailers and no info. Like, I know that they're about their world premiere trailers, but Jeff Keighley, like, give us some actual info. Don't just show us a trailer and be like, here you go, have fun, guys. Here's 40 more trailers of games that we're not going to say anything about.
Yeah, I don't even consider those trailers if they don't say anything.
They just, there was too much emphasis on showing stuff and not telling us stuff. Like, we need some information. What year is this game coming out? Is it going to come out in 2022, 2023, 2027? Give us a ballpark here. At least, with some of them they announce release dates, but I don't know. Best performance went to Maggie Robertson, who played Lady, I can't say that name, Dimitrescu or whatever it is from Resident Evil Village.
Usually I'd be able to say it, but the moment you said that name wrong, it completely blinked my mind.
I
go.
personally,
Lady D.
I don't know if I would have given that to.
I was gonna say, mommy
to her.
milkers.
Mommy milkers.
Yeah, mommy milkers. Yes.
Lady D. Lady Double D.
Yeah, that's terrible. I love it. Oh, I love it.
They showed off a trailer for this. Surprised everyone. Alan Wake 2 is happening.
Yes.
Yep, it was announced for 2023.
Did you just orgasm?
Again, yes.
Yeah,
I
was like,
just like I did that time.
Like,
yeah.
that was an awfully breathy yes coming from you.
Yeah. I've been wanting that game since the first one came out. I bought that day one, and I fucking love that game. I've bought it like 3 times, I think.
Jeez.
I love that game. I've been waiting for this for forever, and they were making a second one, and then they canceled it for, I don't remember the reason anymore because I don't really care. Because now it's coming out, and that's all that matters.
Now it's coming out to Series X and S, PS5, and Epic Games Store. So next gen only. Or current gen, I guess.
Thank God I got a current gen system.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
Yay! And they also stressed it will be M-rated survival horror and not an action game.
I'm fine with this.
Yeah.
I just want more of that story. I'm really hoping that they eventually combine it with Control. Because they both take place in the same universe.
Well, isn't that what the Alan Wake expansion kind of did, was combine the 2 worlds? For Control. The Alan Wake expansion. AWE, Alan Wake expansion. Oh,
I actually didn't realize that's what that stood for.
Yep.
I just knew one of them had Alan Wake stuff.
Yeah,
that's what that did, and I just hope it continues to merge more, because I would really like to see both Jesse Faden and him in a game together, because I really love her and he's awesome. So,
Jacob, the part you wanted came up. They showed a movie trailer for Sonic 2.
Woo! Although, actually, the thing I really wanted, and
was Sonic to blow you?
No, thank you very much. I'm more of a a
Tails fan, eh?
I was trying to come up with somebody else from like a different series.
Knuckles?
Get to the point. Just give up on the joke.
So anyways, what I enjoy is that I'm going through Twitter, looking up stuff on Advent Rising 2, and because that's honestly what I hoped for an announcement from. And apparently, all these people were like, "Oh my God, Donald Mustard is there!" You're like, "Oh, is he going to talk?" Oh, it's Fortnite. God damn it! Like, all these people are just so damn disappointed that they thought he was going to be talking about Advent Rising 2.
No, I don't think that's ever going to happen.
I honestly, I don't know.
Wish in one hand, shit in the other. See which one fills up first.
The thing is, remember, the IP got bought a couple years ago, so
I didn't
somebody's gonna do something with it.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
Maybe it was just bought to put it on backward compatibility.
Well, yeah, but then Majesco just would have handled it, wouldn't they?
I don't know.
We don't know nothing here.
We're stupid.
They
showed a video for Horizon Forbidden West, which is coming out February 18th. Looked good. Can't wait for that. Final Fantasy VII Remake is hitting other platforms. And by other platforms, I mean the Epic Games Store.
Yeah.
For $70, no less.
$70 on December 16th. So next week, $70 whole dollars. It includes I think all the DLC, or most of the DLC, at least.
I didn't even know there was a lot more DLC. I just thought there was just that one.
No, there was like pre-order DLC, like just tiny shit. But
yeah, everyone just wait until it comes out for Steam a year later.
Yeah.
And then wait for a sale, because it'll go on sale within a year or two. Shit.
It'd be nice if they announced it for Xbox.
Yeah,
Square.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're just going to keep bringing out little bits of the story, and then Sony's going to be like, no, we want this exclusive for another 6 months or so, and they're just going to keep doing that until it's completed and there's new versions of it coming out, like new editions like Gold or Game of the Year or whatever, and then they'll get that to be exclusive to them for a while until it's just not viable for them to put it on a fucking Xbox. I think that's what they're doing, because they're assholes.
Probably.
Fuck you, Sony.
Square lives directly up Sony's asshole right now, so who knows?
For the most part, yeah.
What do you mean right now? Haven't they for like the last 20 years?
For the most part, yeah.
Kinda. Yeah.
They occasionally grace us with some games, but no, they really love just tonguing that prostate of Sony's.
Wow. Okay, you got away with words. All right. They showed a video for Game Pass for PC, and they talked about a lot of day one games for Game Pass PC, including some unannounced titles. Let's go over the list. Total War, Warhammer 3. Sounds good. Redfall, Stalker 2, Atomic Heart, Slime Rancher 2, Plague Tale Requiem, Starfield, Paparazzi, Replaced, Somerville, Ayuden, Chronicle Rising, and Scorn were all reconfirmed for day one games on Game Pass. And then they announced 3 games that we didn't know about, with Trek to Yomi, Pigeon Simulator, and Sniper Elite 5.
Sniper Elite 5.
Yeah, good stuff there. Best action game went to Returnal. I didn't play it, so I can't comment on it. And then they announced a game called Slitterhead, which this might be the most talked about game of the show. It's from the creator of Silent Hill, and it looks fucked up.
Yeah, everything I saw about it reminded me of Ghostwire.
It just looks crazy, like monsters ripping out of Japanese people's faces. It's crazy. It looked ridiculous. They showed a video for Lord of the Rings Gollum.
I'm for that. It's, from what I understand, it's a stealth game, and I am 100% for that.
They showed a trailer for Somerville, which I don't remember anything about.
It's gonna be one of those not quite 2D games where you're trying to save your family from an alien invasion. I think if I'm remembering correctly, I've been following that on and off for like a year or two now.
Well, it's going to be on Game Pass, so that's the important part.
Yeah, I can't wait for that too. There's so many good games this time.
Yeah, Cuphead, The Delicious Last Course got a performance and a trailer, and it is finally coming out June 30th. I thought it would be sooner. They've been working on that for a long ass time, so we'll see how it turns out. And it's going to be hitting all platforms, so that's cool. And then they showed a trailer for Sonic Frontiers. Jacob, what did you think of this one?
I literally only watched like 3 trailers from the whole thing, and Sonic Frontiers.
And they were all movie trailers.
No, actually only Sonic the Hedgehog 2. It's because I wanted to see it, and my kids have made me watch it like 10 more times. But Sonic Frontiers, I'm cautiously interested in it. I mean, I bought Sonic Colors during the Black Friday sale. I haven't played it yet. But the idea of Sonic being in an open world Sonic game, it sounds cool, but again, as I said, I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
Sonic belongs in 2D.
I mean,
we'll see.
That's honestly where Sonic has been best, but you know, I'm willing to give Sega a chance with it. So
I don't know. We'll find out holiday 2022.
Yep.
So, Guillermo del Toro was on doing some stuff, and I made a casual, oh man, we should get a new Silent Hill game, huh?
Yeah, you repeat that because your mic went straight to shit for a second.
Guillermo del Toro said a comment about, oh man, we should get a new Silent Hill game, huh? So he's feeding into those rumors. A bunch of awards went out. Best Art Direction went to Deathloop. Player's Voice Award went to Halo Infinite. Best RPG went to Tales of Arise. Best Score and Music went to Nier Replicant. I thought for sure it'd go to Guardians of the Galaxy. But Best Multiplayer Game went to It Takes Two, and Best Narrative went to Guardians of the Galaxy. Any thoughts on those awards?
There's a few of them I don't particularly agree with, but you've said so many that I've now already started forgetting them. My memory is shit.
Welcome to the club. They announced a game called Chia for PS4, PS5, and Epic Game Store. It looks like Zelda meets Far Cry meets like item possession. It
reminded me of Windbound, personally.
It looked cute. I'm curious to see more of that. So, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League trailer was shown, coming out 2022. New trailer for Forspoken was shown, coming out May 24th for PS5 and PC.
And apparently it's going to come to Xbox eventually, too.
Allegedly. Who knows? We'll see. It's Square, so...
I really hope it does. I want... when I saw that at, what was it, E3, G3, whatever the fuck it's called, last year, I think it was, maybe the year before, I was super excited, and then they were like, oh yeah, it's Sony. I was like, yeah, it's exclusive then. And then I just heard that it has a listing on Xbox for the PC right now.
Yeah, for PC.
So I'm hoping it'll eventually come to Xbox, the console as well.
That'd be nice.
I still want that game. It looks so cool. I love the player character. She's adorable. I love her voice, and she's such a badass.
The trailer did nothing for me. It was just another third-person action game to me. It just blended in with everything else. And surprisingly, the next game is a third-person action game that I was really excited about. They announced Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2.
I've never played any of those games.
Oh, the first Space Marine was on 360 and PS3, and it was a bloody good time.
I think I own it, but I don't remember. I played the shit out of Kill Team, though, back in the day. I miss it. Oh, man, I wish that was backwards compatible.
Yeah, I was hoping Space Marine would be backward compatible, but nope. Shame they killed the program, huh? Game like this would have been great to give him backward compatibility to drum up support for
maybe they're
new
going to do
release.
like a remastered or something.
That'd be nice. New trailer for Saints Row coming out in August. Then they announced...
Wait, whoa, hold it, whoa.
What?
Whoa. August?
Yeah.
I thought it was February.
No, it got delayed. We covered that weeks ago.
Wait, again?
We covered that weeks ago.
I know
that it got bumped to August.
Hold on, whoa. I thought it got delayed to February.
No, it was announced for February, and then it got delayed to August.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I want that game purely because it's a Saints Row game.
Yeah.
Nothing about that trailer spoke to me at all. That didn't show off anything super Saints Row-y to me. I was just like, this is so bland for a game that should be super cool and fun.
I think they're trying to make it more grounded in reality, and I think it's going to backfire.
Who the fuck wants that?
I don't know.
You want grounded in reality, you have GTA.
Exactly. But hey, you could dress up as a taco, so that makes it wacky and funny. Nightmare Before Christmas is coming to Fall Guys. Yeah.
Well, that's amusing. I like that.
They're going to have a Nightmare Before Christmas event with some costumes. And then they announced something called Gueststravaganza, which is happening at the end of December into January. And it's going to feature characters like Bomberman, the Goose from Untitled Goose Game, Shovel Knight. It looks pretty crazy. A lot of cool characters are going to be in there. And still no word on Switch or Xbox release for Fall Guys. So... good to see all this content and no other platforms.
It is what it is. That's just how it is. It's always been that way.
Best action adventure game, Metroid Dread.
I can understand that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. They announced Dune Spice Wars coming to early access in 2022. Going to be a strategy game.
Now, I read the press release. I mean, well, first off, strategy game. At first I was like, oh, but I mean, the best Dune games have all been real-time strategy games, like in the past.
Aren't all
anyway.
the Dune games that?
I don't believe so. I think there was like one or two attempts that like totally fucked up, but anyways, the classic Dune games are all real-time strategy things. So I was just like, oh, that's understandable. But then I read the press release and like, is there another Dune game being made as well? Because that's what it seems like.
I don't know.
The way that they worded the final thing, it's just like, this is not relate. Like, this is a real-time strategy not related to like the other game that is being produced. And I didn't know if they meant like another title that company is making, or if they meant like there's another Dune game in the works and this isn't it.
I don't know if
Dune I glazed over.
I don't know if it's related, but there is an old Game Boy game that's getting kickstarted that was originally a Dune game, but they're stripping the license and making it all original stuff.
I remember hearing about that.
I don't know if it's related to that, but we'll see. Tiny Tina's Wonderland's got a new trailer coming out March. Among Us VR was announced for Steam, MetaQuest 2, and PSVR. And then Star Trek Resurgence was announced for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. Jacob, any thoughts on Star Trek Resurgence? Nope. Okay, best ongoing game.
I didn't even know it got it. I didn't even know it got freaking
I
announced.
looked at it after you told me, and I actually think I would probably like that game.
Oh, it's being made by... Wait. Oh, so
Telltale.
It's going to be a game by, like, Telltale-ish kind of folks?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right.
But it's very different. You get to walk around and everything instead of just choosing, oh, do you do this or this? No, it seems like you actually really do shit in it. So I'm kind of excited for that because it doesn't seem quite as boring as the original Telltale games were.
Oh, nice. And it comes out in the spring. All right, cool. I'm excited. Fingers crossed it comes out for Xbox One.
Yeah, and I think you get to play it as a Cleon, which is pretty cool.
I think it is. I think it is for old gen and current gen. I think that's why I just put Xbox, PlayStation, and PC instead of platforms.
Well, I'm checking it out on The Verge because that's like the first article that came up. And yeah, they only say Xbox.
Yeah.
Or sorry, Xbox and PlayStation, but they don't say current or last gen.
I don't know. Best ongoing game went to Final Fantasy XIV, another game that is still not on Xbox, despite them saying like 2 years ago it was happening.
I can understand them winning that.
Oh, I totally agree with it. It's a great game. I just wish it was on Xbox already. They talked about it years ago, and it's still not happening. A bunch of trailers were shown. Rumbleverse, which is like a multiplayer wrestling game. It looked weird. I know Carnage is excited about that one. Plague Tale Requiem. Aki, I know you're excited about that one.
Yes, give me.
Wait, so why is Carnage excited about that wrestling game? Just because it's a wrestling game?
Because it's a multiplayer thing. It's reminiscent of like the EA stuff that's been coming out, like the Rocket Arena and Knockout City, and looks to be another multiplayer game kind of in that vein. But we'll see. They're having open signups and stuff on their website, and I think it's coming out in February, so it's not that far away. Dying Light 2 trailer, and then a Crossfire X trailer. That's coming out February 10th, so that's cool.
Crossfire!
Wrong Crossfire.
I have no idea how I feel about that game.
New Fortnite chapter is happening. I know everyone's excited about that. The big thing is that Spider-Man is there, so I guess Spider-Man's allowed on Xbox finally.
Watches are still like, no.
That'd be hilarious. No, PlayStation only. Marcus Phoenix is in Fortnite now.
Which is kind of weird.
Hey, whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, like, doesn't that mean that, like, Epic now has to, like, they had to pay the license amount?
I think Master Chief's already in there, and I know some Sony characters are. I don't know if you can access them on competing platforms or not, but they are on there. Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt was announced for spring 2022. It's going to be a free-to-play game for PC and PS5 only. So, Another multiplayer horror game. Yippee. I'm excited for that. Innovation in accessibility and best sports/racing game. Shocker went to Forza Horizon 5.
I mind-blowing. Think accessibility should have gone to the Veil, personally. You only need hearing to play that game. That is it.
I think if they had subtitles, it could have won. But they didn't have subtitles in that game. I know it's an audio-only game, but they should have had text. It would have helped. And then I wrote down the Steelers game is fucking depressing, and these game awards are not helping matters. So long. That's how good the game was last night, too. A bunch more awards. Best game direction went to Deathloop. Best esports game went to League of Legends. Best family game went to It Takes Two. Best.
I don't like that one.
Why?
Because It Takes Two, the whole story is about, these people have a failing marriage. They should stay together because they have a kid. That is the entirety of that game, and that is not a good family message. Fuck it all. That is terrible. So I don't think it should have won that.
I don't know. Best fighting game went to Guilty Gear Strive.
I can get that. Guilty Gear has always been a good one for people who like that shit.
Too bad it's not on Xbox. Best Sim strategy game went to Age of Empires 4 on PC. Shocker that a PC game won Best Strategy Game. Never saw that coming.
Yeah, weren't all the nominations also PC only games?
Yeah, that's the point. They're all PC games because console strategy sim games are usually terrible.
Yeah.
Best VR game went to Resident Evil 4 VR, so it's nice to see that little indie still trucking along after all these years. Most anticipated game for the second year in a row went to Elden Ring, and they followed it up with a trailer for Elden Ring, which is coming out in February. There was a video for Synced Off Planet from Next Studios coming on Steam in 2022, which I don't remember a thing about. Arc Raiders.
Nor do I.
Arc Raiders is a multiplayer PvE game, so I might be interested in this one. This is the one that had like giant mech spiders crawling around, and I don't know, it might be cool. And then the Matrix Awakens, they talked about that. And Game of the Year, biggest game of the year, the winner, It Takes Two. I'm cool with that. It's cool to see a game like that win Game of the Year. I don't have a gripe with that. Plus, it let Joseph Ferris get on stage and say fuck a few times, and that was the most entertaining thing about the Game Awards.
I'm surprised Game of the Year didn't go to either Metroid Dread or Resident Evil Village, honestly.
I don't know. It should have went to Forza Horizon 5, but it wasn't nominated because their nomination process is fucked up. So, good shit. Yeah, that's the Game Awards. Yippee.
Depressing.
It was, oh my God, I hated watching it. I don't know if it's because I'm getting old and jaded or if the show was really just this long, boring, and bad. But I hated it this year. I thought it was fucking awful. The trailers all blended together. There were too many trailers, not enough focus on awards. They would have 40 trailers back to back, and then they would just Jeff Keighley stand on stage and be like, all right, here's the nominees for this category, and they would just have a list on the side of the screen. They wouldn't even say the names, just a list. Wow. And then, the winner goes to this, winner goes to this. It was just back to back to back. No acceptance speeches, nothing. The Game Awards is not about Game Awards anymore. It's about promotion and trailers, and that's
Joe.
What?
It was never about games.
I know.
It was literally never fucking about games. And every single goddamn time we talk about this fucking Game Awards show, I bring up about GoldenEye fucking Rogue Agent, a game that had not been released at the time when they made all their fucking nominations.
I don't even remember Rogue Agent ever being nominated, so...
It got nominated for every goddamn thing under the sun, even though it hadn't even been released at the time. Now, when the Game Awards finally happened, yes, it had been out for literally a week or 2 weeks. But back in 2005 or 2004, it got nominated for every goddamn thing under the sun. You know why? Because it's not about fucking games. It's about promotion and marketing and tons of other bullshit. Fuck the Game Awards. Fuck them, fuck them, fuck them.
No thanks.
You know what? I'm glad that the Game Awards happened, because otherwise there was jack shit for news this week. Do you want to hear what my other news of the week was?
Tales of Crestoria is shutting down?
No.
Oh.
What?
That's a mobile game, isn't it?
I don't know. Some mobile fucking game.
Exactly. So I don't give a fuck about it.
No one does.
Yeah.
Joe doesn't.
Masayuki Umara, I'm sure I butchered that name, but the creator of the NES and SNES passed away at 78. So the gaming world lost a legend.
Poor old guy.
Yeah. The Epic Games Store added a cart feature.
Now they're actually a fucking storefront, finally. It only took them how many fucking years before they managed something a goddamn poppin'...
Yeah, this is the big news of the week.
Store has.
This is the big news of the week. Yeah, come on, let's get excited. Cart. Epic Games Store got a cart.
Hey, as far as I'm concerned, that's big news because now they're actually a fucking storefront.
No, they aren't.
Without that, they aren't a fucking storefront.
Garfield is joining Nick All-Stars.
That amuses me.
Yeah, Garfield. Is joining Nick All-Stars Brawl as a DLC character.
I'm sorry, wait, what?
Garfield.
Yes. The cat, yes. It's fantastic.
Wait, is Garfield even on Nickelodeon?
Viacom bought Garfield, yes.
Huh. I didn't know that.
I don't know if they show him on Nick, but they own him.
Not yet, anyway. And somebody over at Star Trek shitposting made a thing that since Star Trek Prodigy is being shown on Nickelodeon, and Paramount owns Nickelodeon and Star Trek, does that mean that we're going to see Catherine Janeway in Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl? And I'm just like, huh. Yeah,
I would be totally fine with that.
Not going to happen.
Honestly, I was kind of like, I was low-key wondering if like one of the kids, like one of the Prodigy crew members, like not holographic Janeway, I was wondering if one of them is going to show up eventually. I think
that's if they support it. That's if they support the game. But, you know, with, what is it, Multiversus from Warner Brothers coming out, I don't think they're going to stick with this Nick game. I think they're going to let it flounder and just ignore it.
Which is disappointing because I heard it's pretty good.
It's not bad. It's not amazing, but it's not bad. Like it's a lot better than it has any right to be, but the lack of voice acting just destroys the game. To have pure silence as you're battling is just weird.
I don't know. I think it was enough of a competition that Nintendo, amazingly enough, announced Sora being the final DLC the same exact day that the game comes out. I think Nintendo thought it was going to put up enough of a fight.
I don't know. I was excited about this news. The Fratelli song Chelsea Dagger hit Rock Band 4 this week. Cool. Okay, we're getting copyright strikes.
Oh shit, wait, hold on. That's like an actual like thing?
Yes.
I only know that song from the In-Betweeners, like the British version, not the shitty MTV version. Because they used to play that song in the background, like when the kids were fucking up.
Mm. Huh. Well, it's in Rock Band now. I'm excited.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's been way too
really
long.
Fucking weird.
That's like their biggest song, and it finally shows up. They had a 3-pack released like a decade ago, and this song wasn't in there. But
yeah.
Oh well. And then the last bit of news I have is there is rumors that Sony is developing a 3-tiered subscription service. Yes. The existing PS Plus would be the first tier. Second tier would be a larger catalog of PS4 and PS5 games that you could play. And then a third tier would include extended demos and a library of classic PS1 to PS3 and PSP games. All rumors, nothing official. It'd be nice to see Sony embrace their past platforms and bring games back that we could play. It'd be nice if like our past purchases would carry over, because I own a lot of PS1 and PS2 classics from the PS3 days. It'd be nice if I could play them and not have to rebuy them again, but
I don't think you even can rebuy them. None of the other stores let you buy them, do they?
I think the PS3 you could still buy them.
Yeah, I thought the PS3 was the only one you could, though.
Yeah. Well, they sell some PS2 games on the PS4, but there's only like a dozen of them.
The only game I probably would even want to buy is The Legend of Dragoon. That's a PS1 game, so.
Yeah, which was made available on PS3 and on the Vita.
I really wish they just remake that game or make a new fucking game. Sony owns that.
Yeah, it'd be nice, but
need to fucking do something with it, damn it. Or give it to someone else. Give it to fucking me. I will find a way to make a new fucking game for it. I loved that game.
Oh man. But yeah, that's the news I have. Jacob, what do you got?
So I got a few stories. Believe it or not, none of them are movie related or TV related.
Shocker.
I don't believe this.
I don't believe it either.
Well, Aki, you'll actually have to listen to me to verify it. So,
Joe, tell me the results.
That's asking a lot.
You have to make a really tough decision right now. So as I previously mentioned, Bandai Namco has announced that they're shutting down Tales of Crestoria. It's a free-to-play mobile RPG set in the Tales of thing. It shuts down February 7th, 2099. It's only been around for like a little over a year and a half.
It shuts down 2099.
Oh, sorry. February 7th, 2022.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
I like that you asked me if I was covering this news, and I said, no, I don't care about it, and you're covering this news.
Well, yeah, that's why I cover it. If you're not going to cover it, I will. So, anyway, let's hear that beautiful sigh again, Joe.
No.
Damn it. Anyway, so Bandai has gone ahead and already said that the characters who showed up in this game, they're going to show up in other Tales of games later on. So if you got attached to anybody, don't worry. So as it turns out, Snoop Dogg's what?
I don't think anyone in our chat or any of us or anyone who could ever conceivably listen to this ever played that fucking game.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't. Honestly, it was the first time I'd even heard about it.
That's why I didn't talk about it.
Well, good, Joe, because somebody had to.
No, you didn't. No.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, because you know what?
You're outvoted on this one, 2-1.
I cover all the news nobody gives a shit about, okay?
Fair.
Well, you can cover it on your own time, away from here.
No, because I don't have my own podcast. I'm too lazy to start my own podcast.
You can tell your kids.
No,
just
because
talk
they're
to
just
the
going
mirror.
to walk away from me. Anyway.
Which
no.
They should.
So it's because we're trapped
with this
here.
podcast, I have a captive audience, so now you're all forced to listen to me talk about news nobody gives a shit about.
It came from the chat.
Anyway.
So a couple months ago, Snoop Dogg accidentally let leak that Dr. Dre had recorded some new music, which was a big thing because everyone's like, holy shit, he hasn't recorded any new music in like 5 years. But on top of it being new music, he let it drop that it was going to be for some sort of Grand Theft Auto project. I think he said it was like going to be for a new game. It turns out it's actually going to be for GTA Online.
Called it.
The first,
Called it.
Well, good for you. It's the first story expansion in years, and it's going to be you have to get some stolen tracks back for Dr. Dre, who actually appears as himself in the game. And there's more to it than that, and it's going to add a bunch of other shit to the game. So that's pretty cool.
Is it single player content or multiplayer?
I believe it's both.
I stopped listening.
I believe it's actually both, because then they did say it's going to add in. I believe they said it's going to add in some single player missions too.
Good, and that should be free for everyone who bought the season pass forever ago, back when they said there was going to be single player content, and then said, "Oh, never mind, we're not doing that because multiplayer made them more money because they're dickheads."
It comes out. December 15th. Rockstar says this content will span the entirety of Los Santos, including massive mansions, exclusive parties, the local FIB branch, as players attempt to recover a cell phone containing the precious unreleased tracks. So there's that. The upcoming first-person shooter game Oceanic is suing the Russian arms manufacturer Kalashnikov for stealing one of their weapons designs in the game. Apparently, Kalashnikov approached them about working together for this line of firearms that were going to be based on like guns that appear in video games. And then the deal just fell through, and Kalashnikov went off and stole one of their designs.
Oh,
so
nice.
They've issued a cease and desist. And from what I understand, it's not at this point. It's not so much the thing that's being released is totally stolen from this. It's like, you contacted us, you took some of our designs. You actually tried buying art from us, to work on this thing, and now you've released something that's totally based on our shit. So that'll be interesting to see how that turns out.
I wonder if they actually got anyone to actually let them use their weapons for their line, because, having guns in a video game is very different than being like, oh yeah, make this in real life, because we totally want massive amounts of gun violence to be associated with our game.
I think the thing is that I think it's supposed to be some sort of collector series. It's not going to be some mass produced, you're going to find this thousands of these out in like the Middle East or some shit like that, like in the hands of like Al Qaeda. Like I think it's going to be like some sort of like limited production run of like 5,000 or something.
Private collector stuff.
So it's going to be like drug kingpins who have this. Okay.
Yes, even better.
Yeah. Jesus, I hope no one agreed to this because that just sounds so damn dumb.
So Riot Games is actually taking legal action against a bunch of people who were posing as HR and recruiting folks from them and going out and trying to get people to apply for all these jobs that actually didn't exist and then bilking them for a ton of money.
Oh, wow.
People have lost like hundreds, thousands of dollars for these games, for these jobs at the game company that just weren't there. So it really sucks for these people, but on the plus side, Manticore Games, Rockstar, and Riot Games are supposedly taking action against these unnamed scammers.
Fuck scammers.
Fuck nuggets. Yeah, fuck scammers. We should take them all out and shoot them.
And
you like shooting people, don't you?
I like the concept of it, yes.
But
I don't actually like guns,
but then in practice?
Then when there's a dead person in your room, what do you do?
Yeah.
Well, then you cover up the stopper in the bathtub, you dump the body, and you pour a lot of lye in until it all dissolves.
Are you just
Next
watching
news
Breaking
story.
Bad?
No, I've never actually seen Breaking Bad.
Dexter.
Never seen that either.
Anyway,
all right,
news.
So hold on. No. We have to find out how.
No, we
Aki
don't.
does this
You really don't.
We're over an hour into the show. We don't.
All right. So the last bit of news that I have is there is a Java exploit that's going around right now. It got announced today. The Apache Log4j exploit is currently affecting Minecraft, Java Edition, Amazon, Twitter, all sorts of other shit, and it has the internet in a panic right now. So if you play Minecraft, you should probably hop over to Mojang's site and find out what the hell you're supposed to do about it. But yeah, so that's fun.
Yay. You know what else is fun?
Talking about games finally.
Yeah, reviews.
I just did talk about games.
Talking about
Nothing that
specific
anyone gave a
games.
fuck about.
I did talk about specific games. I named them.
Specific games
Shut
in
up.
expanded review form.
All right, then fine.
Jesus Christ.
I'm now just living just to frustrate. I mean, I just want to frustrate Aki, but she seems a little bit impenetrable on that. So I'll just live for Joe's size. There we go.
First game to talk about tonight is called Far Cry 6, developed by Ubisoft Toronto, published by Ubisoft. It released October 7th on Xbox One, Series X and S, PS4, PS5, PC, Stadia, and Luna for $59.99. Welcome to Yara, a tropical paradise frozen in time, as the dictator of Yara, Anton Castillo, is intent on restoring his nation back to its former glory by any means, with his son Diego following in his bloody footsteps. Their oppressive rule has ignited a revolution. Aki, I'm guessing you're part of that revolution.
Yeah, I am currently anyways.
Well, tell us about Far Cry 6.
All right. In this, you play as Danny, male or female, your pick. Obviously, I chose the correct one, and yeah, you're planning on escaping this place because you've been effectively drafted by the dictator to go work the fields, as it were. And lots of people die there. So yeah, you decided fuck that. I'm escaping to the Americas instead. So you're just having a party with your friend, and then the city gets all of its electricity cut, and the military comes in because you haven't reported to wherever the fuck you were supposed to report to. So they're ripping the town apart and killing hundreds of people just to get you to go pick tobacco plants because they're smart. Kill
Yay.
workforce instead of taking workforce to work. Anyway, so your friend dies, and another friend of yours tries to get you out of there. She works with the revolution,
and you escape eventually to get on a boat, and then everyone dies on the boat because the dictator's bad, and he followed his son who was also trying to escape. His dad is trying to force him to follow his footsteps. I don't know if he ever actually starts following in those footsteps of his own volition, though, because the kid knows his dad's a dick and doesn't want to end up like him. So, good kid so far. I'm about halfway through with the game because this map reminds me of the Just Cause 3 map. It's fucking huge. There's lots of tiny stuff to do all over the place, namely just picking up resources that you can use later to help build up different shacks, basically, that give you different perks. Your boat gets killed, your friend dies, and you join the revolution, or you can leave after doing some jobs for them. They get you a boat, and you can just fuck off and end the game real quick. And there's an achievement for that this time. So
nice.
Yay.
I like when they did that in Far Cry 4, where if you just sit at the table at the beginning and wait, you get a special ending.
Yep. This one takes a little longer than that did, but yeah. Because you actually have to do some missions and kill a whole bunch of people. But after that, you can choose just to leave to go to Miami and just have fun on the beach. Or you can go and you can decide you want to take down a dictator who caused the deaths of your two best friends. Because, fuck that guy. And after I chose to go to Miami in hopes of seeing Danny in a bikini, which I did not, which is really sad, I decided, fuck that guy. Because, obviously, Miami didn't mean anything to me at that point. And then you go about killing a bunch of people. They're the first island that you're in, because you have two, a big island and a small island. And the small island is where you start, and you have to do missions there in order to unlock the other island. And that's also, once you unlock that, you can also choose to leave to go to Miami. And once you're there, it might as well be fucking Australia. It's so fucking huge. And you have 3 different factions of guerrilla fighters that exist in the different areas, and you're trying to unify them all with Claire, the leader of the revolution of that island, Libertad. You're trying to unite them all the groups with her group to fight as one cohesive whole, even though she got most of her group killed. So maybe not the best idea, but hey, I didn't write the game. It has some good stuff in it that they decided not to do from that was shitty in 5 and New Dawn, thank God.
Like what?
There's a bunch of guns, but the guns don't take like 50 years to fucking be able to afford. You don't have to buy vehicles this time. Instead, you can actually pull out your smartphone, and as long as it's not a military vehicle, you can just step far enough away to where you can see the whole vehicle, and you unlock it automatically for free, as well as if it has a special horn, its interior and exterior paint job, and whatever you call the interior job, because it's not paint.
Wait, hold on. Let me just get this straight. So you're saying that you just look at a car and it unlocks as long as it's a non-military vehicle?
Yep.
It's not like you have
awesome. So you don't have to bring it anywhere. It's great. It'll let you get vehicles so much faster. However,
because that's what I was going to ask. Because games like Mercenaries and Just Cause, you've always had to drive it over to some other place. You just this is still blowing my mind. You just literally look at it, and boom, it's added to your inventory. So I could just walk around a parking lot and just have everything fucking unlocked.
It's going to take you a lot longer than that because each area has its own vehicles. So you have to go to each area. But yeah, and all the military vehicles you can get to, but you do have to drive them to drop off
some other place. Okay, that's weird.
But all the normal vehicles, even horses, because there's some horses you can ride too. You can.
Do you have to look at them, or do you have to look at them, or do you have to
scan them
ride
with your smartphone? You just have to scan them with your smartphone.
I like the idea, but I'm also at the same time, I'm also like, this is so fucking weird. I'm uncomfortable by this.
I scan a horse, right? And I own it.
It's the same for boats and planes as well. So
it feels fantastic. It feels like right clicking on an NFT.
Oh, that just. Why did you even have to bring NFTs up? So that's great that you don't have to buy all of them for ridiculous prices. You do have to buy various attachments for your weapons, so like different types of suppressors and stuff, but they don't cost the in-game money, which is slow to accrue. That doesn't sound right. Accrue. There we go. Instead, you use different resources to actually build them. And some of them are really janky looking, like the very starting and best, ironically, both silencers are just like water jugs and stuff that have been taped to the end of it. And then you have like legitimate ones like you would expect on these guns. And they're not as good as the best one, which is just a fucking jug. It's so great. Like, what the fuck?
I forget what game it was that had a can as the silencer, like a soda can as the silencer. I thought that was funny.
That was in, I think there was Army of Two had that. Yeah. Because I liked that game too. So yeah, you get all the attachments. You have to build each one, and sadly, it's not like, oh, I built this ACOG sight. I can put it on any weapon. No, you built this ACOG sight for rifles, so you can use it on any of the rifles, but you can't put it on your sniper rifle. You can't put it on your pistol. You can't put it on an SMG or any of that other shit. They all have ACOG sights that you can make, but it's only for that type of weapon, which sucks. There you can also build different types of ammos, which again are also, all of these things are tied to that specific type of weapon. Different upgrades, like, you can pull this out and you move faster while aiming down sights, or the bullets do a little more damage. You get health when you get headshots, stuff like that. And then you also have paint jobs that you can get for each individual weapon when you find spray cans around, which is kind of funny. And yeah, you also get some super weapons in this game, which are called Supremos. They're backpacks, basically. And the first one you get shoots rockets out of it that home on targets, I might add. And it shoots like 4 or 8 or something like that of them, and it's insane. It destroys fucking everything, and I love it so much. Then you also get one that's just a backpack EMT, so you can knock out tanks and stuff, so you can hijack them, which is really fun. I've done that a lot. When you're on a horse or in a vehicle, you can hijack someone's horse or vehicle and kill them, which is fun. Can't do that with tanks, though, sadly. I don't know if you can do it with airplanes, because I haven't managed to jump out of an airplane and land on another one yet.
Oh, gee.
But one day.
I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if you could do it. It sounds like you're having fun with this one.
I actually am. I wasn't sure I was going to, because I've played a lot of Far Cry games, and they're all kind of the same game, realistically. There's, hey, go up here, climb something, now you've unlocked this part of the map, go grab all the crap, and keep doing that. And that's all Far Cry games usually are. This, you don't climb up fucking anything. This is like Far Cry 5 and New Dawn. You walk around and it unlocks the map. And yeah, there is DLC for it. There's only one piece right now. Well, I guess technically there's 3 pieces. 2 of them are just little extra missions you can do, which are similar to the extra missions you had in Far Cry 5 and New Dawn, where you just go and you get more resources, basically. It also gives you some black market money where you can buy super guns at, as well as some standard ass guns, but you're really there to buy the super guns for. And they're just your standard guns, but they have special attachments that you can't take off or anything, special upgrades on them. One of them I unlocked was an MP5, which is a submachine gun, and it does like 4 times extra damage. Yeah, and that's just one mod that was on it. I don't know what else was on it because I don't use it because I have a sniper rifle.
I like overpowered weapons in video games.
Yeah, and they're not too awfully hard to get a hold of. And in every one of these levels, you make like I think 200 money for completing it. It's really made for co-op, sadly, but you can do it solo. I did. It takes forever. But you make about 200-ish money on the lower levels, something like that. And there's like 4 different levels that you can play it on. You had to beat the prior one to open the next one for each individual level. And they do tell you what level you should be to play it. But at level 3, you can do all the very first ones. They give you about 200. And then inside that area, you can find a chest that has another 400 of the black market money in it. So you get 600 every run if you hit everything, which gives you enough to usually buy a weapon or at least get a good chunk of the way into the more expensive weapons. And that stock alternates apparently every so often, which kind of sucks. I'd rather just have it all there so I can buy whatever the fuck I want. But, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, well, the game right now is sitting at, $60 brand new, but it's on sale right now as part of the Game Award sales and everything else. But normal $60 price tag on this one. What are you thinking?
I'm for it. So far from what I've seen, the story isn't quite as amazing, but the gameplay is fun. I like exploring. I like finding the collectibles and stuff. So I'm for it. I think that's a decent price for this game.
Cool. All right, next game to talk about is MXGP 2021, the official motocross video game, developed and published by Milestone, released November 30th on Xbox One, Series X and S, PS4, PS5, and PC for $49.99. This title does not support smart delivery or cross-generational purchases, so make sure you buy the right version. All the power of motocross is in your hands. The new MXGP 2021 is finally here. The official MXGP video game is ready to show you what it's made of. Warm up your engines and get ready for the most realistic, exciting two-wheeled experience ever. Jacob, tell us about your time with MXGP 2021.
So, longtime listeners may or may not remember that I used to review these kind of games way back, like MotoGP 19, the Monster Energy, Motocross games, all that kind of stuff. And I sucked at those games because essentially they're more or less simulation. I mean, they're driving simulation games. They're not
Scotty games.
They're what?
They're Scotty games, Carnage. They're games for him.
Oh, possibly.
I thought the Monster Energy games were pretty solid. I thought those were fairly arcadey.
I didn't think that they were arcadey, but what I'm trying to say is I sucked back then. I suck today. It's just, gosh. Me trying to get through any of these races, all of them were a slog because I just can't, I'm real friggin' terrible at, I need to, hit the brake on this. I need to let off the gas. I need to do all this. I have never placed anything higher than 12th in any of these races because I'm just god-awful at them. The controls, so essentially what it is that the game tries to start you up with this tutorial race, which I managed to fuck up. Although I did get an achievement for not having for having a lap where I didn't crash or have to have my bike reset. Which then, as soon as the achievement popped, I had to go have my bike reset.
Nice.
So yeah, I was real proud of that one. But so the game starts you off with this tutorial race, and it tries to show you all, what you're supposed to do. It didn't help me. And then you can go, once you do that, you can go off and you can either go compete with other people online, Or you could start up your career mode, and career mode is the usual stuff, like who do you want to be sponsored by? Like, let's get your team ready and let's go off and go off and race and more stuff so you can hopefully earn money and prestige and everything that follows with that. And I earned like $5 and like a handful of Slim Jims.
I didn't mess with the career that much, and my gripe is the same as it was the last time we covered this game. The career races, the shortest that you can have is a 2-race weekend. I don't want to do 2 fucking races on the same course back to back. Just let me do a race, win, and move on to the next course.
That's bold of you to assume I'm going to win.
Well, you know what I mean. But I would rather them allow you to just do a single race weekend and progress through the career at a speedy pace like you want to. Like, if people want to set it to have a 2-race weekend, or if you want to have the full qualifying events and everything else, like, rock on, do that. I don't want that. So I have just resorted to doing quick matches and just doing a single race instead of having to worry about doing 2 back to back. And you had trouble controlling the game. I have also had a lot of trouble controlling this game. And I usually don't have a hard time with these games. Like, I could usually hold my own, but I found myself flying off track way too frequently in this game.
That happened way, honestly, my first round, my first lap around the tutorial track, I was flying off, or it was resetting me literally every 5 seconds. It was real bad. And I know some of it's just because I suck and I wasn't hitting, I wasn't hitting the brake when I should have and all that kind of stuff. But it was ridiculous with, oh, you're off the track, you need to be reset. It was like, no, I'm still on the dirt. I'm nowhere near the grass.
Yeah, it would reset you way too easily. You would lose all your speed. You would lose all your momentum. People would start passing you, and it would just get way too hard to fight back into it.
Yeah, it's real easy to get fucked over and be shoved back to 18th out of 20.
No.
And the races eventually get to a point where it doesn't matter how well you're doing. It doesn't matter if you haven't had to be reset all track. As I said, I never did better than 12th on any of these races. And it's just it felt like everyone in the back was able to rubber band, but then I wasn't able to catch up with anybody who was ahead of me.
Yeah, I feel like Milestone has been having this issue with a lot of their games lately, and it's disappointing to see, because I used to really enjoy getting into Milestone's racing games. Because they were approachable for all difficulty levels, but it seems like they're just more and more focusing on people who have played them every year. And that's
almost becoming its own Madden.
Yeah.
I will say this, with the Xbox One version, there were a couple of times where the textures, it was really noticeable, especially on the ground, where suddenly the textures would just pop, and it wasn't necessarily clipping, but all of a sudden it just looked like they went from looking like a regular Xbox One graphics to all of a sudden Xbox 360 original Xbox. It was real weird, how the resolution would just suddenly it drained for a couple seconds and then bounced back.
Yeah, that's weird. I haven't run into any issues like that on the Series X. Okay. I thought the game looked really, really good on the Series X. I was playing a lot of rain races, and the water kicking up on the screen was really cool. The mud kicking up on the screen, leaving the tracks in the mud, I thought was really cool. Visually, it was a really, really solid game, but gameplay wise, it just seems to be straying too far away from what I liked out of these games, and that was approachability.
For Xbox One, I'd say visually it was, yeah.
I'm guessing they put more work into the next gen versions than the last gen.
It makes sense. Honestly, they probably just popped it on Xbox One as not necessarily as an afterthought, but especially with how it's been trying to get current gen consoles into the hands of consumers.
Yeah,
you're better off releasing it just on both, just as a precaution.
No. Well, the game's $50 this year, just like every year. Again, no cross-generational purchases. So if you buy the Xbox One version, you do not get the Series X version included. They are separate purchases. What are your thoughts on it this year?
Honestly, I would stick it with a try it. I mean, I don't know if it's ever going to reach Game Pass or anything like that, but if you have some way of getting your hands on like a rental version of it, try it through that first before putting down the $50. I was not particularly impressed with the Xbox One version, but I also admit that I'm not particularly good at these kind of games.
No.
So as I said, I would recommend it as a try it.
Yeah, I can go with that. I just think Milestone needs to get back to making the games more approachable for newer players, for more casual players. I don't know if they want the MXGPs to be more sim and the Monster Energy to be more arcadey. I don't know what separates the two from each other.
Sponsorship.
I guess so, but well. Next game to talk about is Sam & Max Beyond Time and Space, developed and published by Skunkape Games, released December 8th on Xbox One, Switch, and PC for $19.99. In this 5-episode collection of interconnected cases, Sam and Max are back on the crime beat in a showdown with Santa Claus, a race to subdue a giant volcano, and a face-off with a Eurotrash vampire. And then things get weird. Jacob, tell us about your time with Sam and Max Beyond Time and Space.
So for those who aren't particularly familiar with the Sam and Max series, it is a point-and-click adventure series that initially started with a game back on PC and Mac from LucasArts way back in the day, Sam and Max Hit the Road, which is based on a indie comic book about Sam and Max. And Telltale Games had actually picked up the rights to it, and they started making their own. They made 3 seasons of these games. And I'm going to warn players right now, if you're not familiar with it, you need to actually go pick up Sam and Max Save the World, which was the previous game that got remastered. It's not like, you know, if you don't have it, you're not going to be able to like there's nothing to unlock or any of that kind of stuff. It's just story-wise, it's not going to make sense. Because
if that's the first one you've played, will it make sense?
Well, no. In terms of like storyline, because the thing is that these games were originally released as Sam and Max Season 1, Sam and Max Season 2, and so there was also a third one. But Sam and Max Save the World is what Season 1 was. Beyond Time is the second season. And the thing is that there are references to stuff back in that first game that if you haven't played it, it's just going to kind of fly over your head, or you're just not going to understand what the hell they're talking about or why this is important. That being said, so first off, this game is beautiful. Like it just looks fantastic. Skunkape did a really nice job updating the graphics. It sounds great, and pretty much you just have Sam and Max doing their usual shit, making snide comments at each other, tons of sarcasm, as the game begins with this robot that's bent on destroying their building that their office is in, and then they find out that it was sent by Santa Claus.
Dun, dun, dun.
And everything just goes to hell from there in, you know, usual Sam and Max fashion. Now, the nice thing with this update is that they've added a bunch of accessibility features to it. The driving minigames are now optional, which they also were for Sam and Max Save the World. They are optional in this one, too. There are, you know, audio options, subtitles, that kind of stuff. And on top of it, there's also a hint system in there, which you can determine with character dialogue. You know, do you want no hints? Do you want some hints? Do you want them to just like fucking tell you if you haven't figured it out in like 2 minutes? Which is a real nice breeze. Because of course, with point and click adventure games, like a lot of the times, you know, some of the stuff is not so obvious, and you really do have to think outside the box. Like, you know, it's just like, well, the answer doesn't appear to be anything in this room, and then one of the characters will be like, "Huh, maybe we should go in that room we were just in." And then, of course, you're like, oh, yeah, shit, of course. Like, that's how I figure it out. So the game was released with 5 episodes. All of them are present here. I didn't get to all of them yet. But it's just, as I said, the game looks gorgeous. It plays great. It's a fantastic addition to the point and click genre. And I'm really pleased with it. It much like Sam and Max Save the World, Beyond Time and Space looks and plays great. And I'm really hoping that Skunkape will take the time to release Season 3, which never received an Xbox release. It got a PlayStation one, but not Xbox. I'm hoping that the 3rd season will finally get to see the light of day on Xbox.
Hopefully, but this one's sitting at $20. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. $20, it's a fantastic deal. Honestly, I'd be willing to pay probably closer to 40 for these kind of games.
Shut up, don't give them ideas. If you're worried about cost, you can actually pick up the 360 version, original 360 version for $10. And it's playable via backward compatibility.
And it is available backward compatibility. And it's not that the 360 version won't be looking as nice, but just understand that it's worth the upgrade. It is worth the upgrade, and also remember there is no Season 3 release, so you'd be getting an incomplete story if Skunkape ever releases, remasters it and releases it for Xbox One and Series X. So, you can try it at a lower price point if you want. I would just recommend just getting the new one.
Makes sense. All right, next game is Crazy Athletics, Summer Sports and Games, developed and published by Crazysoft Limited, released December 3rd on Xbox One for $15.99. It was originally $19.99. It dropped to $15.99. It is also on PlayStation, Steam, and I believe Switch for $15.99. Enjoy simple yet challenging competitions, including 4 running sports, 2 swimming sports, javelin, shot put, long jump, and high jump. Victory and glory can be yours. Originally, Victory and Glory couldn't be ours. The game we were originally going to cover this 2 weeks ago on the show, and we were asked by the dev to hold off because they were working on a patch. The patch went through on the Steam version, so I could cover talking about the gameplay enhancements that have gone through on Steam. They should be coming to Xbox in the next week or so. But for now, what is Crazy Athletics Summer Sports and Games? Jacob, tell us what it is.
So pretty much it's definitely not the Summer Olympics. Wink, wink. But you are just this athlete and you have to go compete in all these different things, like swimming, marathon running, or just track and field, just standard stuff. And a high jump. And unfortunately, that's about as far as I got.
Yeah.
In the game in its original build. So unfortunately, Joe has to cover a lot of this gameplay stuff because it hasn't updated on Xbox yet.
Yeah, the gameplay is fairly simplistic. You're basically just timing button presses for the most part. It does mix it up sometimes with holding button presses or switching between different buttons, but for the most part, it's just a timing game and hitting the buttons on time. Originally, the game was it was bullshit hard. It was unfair. It relied too much on absolute precision, and the game was unfun. Now, with
neither Joe or I made it past
stage
the 4th level.
Yeah.
I
didn't even know there were dinosaurs in the game until today.
What?
Yeah, there's dinosaur races in the game.
Do you compete against them, or
a dinosaur chases you and you have to outrun it? And if you fuck up too many times, it eats you. Well, I think it eats you.
Eats you.
It might. I didn't lose, so I don't know what it does if you lose.
I mean, what's the game rated?
E. So you don't get eaten. Yeah, there's no problem. But anyway, everything's based on timing and button presses. The game concept is very simplistic. It does get kind of boring after a while. It's just timing button presses. The big selling point with this game is its soundtrack. Jacob, I know you love the soundtrack in this game.
The soundtrack is fantastic for this. Essentially, it is like your own like little indie radio station. Joe, I think you said that there's like 100 tracks on this.
Yep.
And honestly, it is solid. It is like, unfortunately, you folks didn't get to listen to the original review for this game. But pretty much I just spent like 2 minutes gushing over the soundtrack. Like it's just really good. And I was just like, you know what? Like the game costs $5, just buy it and then just vibe to the soundtrack like the whole time. Just let the game run. Like who gives a crap? And also I made the plea that, you know, we should like, honestly, they should make the game soundtrack available up on iTunes or something like that. Cause I would friggin' buy it.
No, it's available on Steam. If you buy the Steam release of the game, you can buy the soundtrack. I believe it's included in the PlayStation release as well. Xbox doesn't have a way to give the soundtrack, so you can't get it with the Xbox version.
I can't listen to it on my Zune?
God. Shut the fuck up. But yeah, if you get it on Steam, big shout out to the dev. He sent me a Steam code so I could check it out on Steam, check out the gameplay updates. And I got this.
He gave you one, but not me? You dick.
Eat shit. I have a computer.
So do I.
Do you?
No, not really. It's really just a box. It's just a cardboard box that I scribbled with a marker on.
Exactly. But yeah, Steam version comes with the soundtrack, and it's worth buying for the soundtrack alone. I'll say the $16. You could tell that the majority of the money that went into this game went into the soundtrack because it's just really fucking good. It's a really awesome soundtrack. A lot of bands on there, 101 tracks. The visuals in the game, I really enjoyed the visuals, the cartoony style. I wish there were more options for your character, or like more customization that you could do with your character. It's a very, very basic character selection screen. Overall, $16. It's better than 20. It was originally 20 on Xbox. 16's better than that. The gameplay was drastically improved with the recent updates. I'd actually give this one a try it now. If it's not the deepest game and it's not going to win over a lot of people based on gameplay alone, but I think the soundtrack more than makes up for it, and it's worth picking up for the music alone.
Yeah. I'm now actually going because I see that it's available in the Steam store. You get it for free if you buy the game. So now I'm hopping over to iTunes just to see if, like, you know.
I don't think it is, unfortunately.
You know, I could dream.
Yeah, but that's it for you, Jacob. We'll let you get going so you can get the hell on out of here.
Okay. Is this where I'm supposed to go?
I guess so. Do you have any final words?
Damn it. No, I didn't think of one.
You bitch.
Fuck Nugget.
How do you not think of any of them? You're here every fucking week.
Because I talk a lot, unlike you who are like, You have plenty of time.
Yeah, and I always have them.
Yeah, because you're always like, you know, you have time to think about this kind of stuff. I have to like run my mouth half the time.
Well, if you would stick around until the end of the show and alternate reviews, you would have time to think too.
Or if you would think of them throughout the entire fucking week, maybe you might be able to come up with one.
All right, you know how much time
it takes a while.
You know how much time I really spend on this show. No, I don't try to do any more thinking about this thing than I have to.
Fair.
No.
In other words, none. Okay.
All right, Jacob, get the hell out of here. We're moving on. Next game to talk about is Transient Extended Edition, developed by Stormling Studios, published by Iceberg Interactive, released December 8th on Xbox One, Switch, and PS4 for $19.99. In the distant post-apocalyptic future, what is left of mankind lives in an enclosed citadel created to survive the harsh outside environment. Delve deep into this dystopian world and investigate what's happening to you and your friends. Solve puzzles, hack systems, and plug in to explore other dimensions. Discover a truth that might tear apart your sanity and question your very existence. Aki, tell us about your time with Transient Extended Edition.
All right. I don't know what's extended about it, honestly, because I haven't played the non-extended edition. I think they added a second ending, I believe. I don't know if they did anything else. But
but you play as a guy.
Experience Transient like never before in the extended edition. Go beyond what you know with additional gameplay, a brand new ending, and an assortment of quality of life improvements, including 4K resolution, HDR support, additional achievements, multiple saves, enhanced controller and force feedback support. So it looks like they did a lot.
Oh, nice. Man, there's some pretty good ones in there. All right. You play as a guy who is... they call themselves cyber shamans. They do drugs and hack things.
Sounds fun.
It's yeah, I know, right?
I'm down.
And you're part of a group. Basically, everyone in this world is born, and then they immediately get cyberkinetic shit put in them to help them attach to the world around them. And it's illegal to modify this stuff. You and your group, cyber shamans in general, they modify it, which is highly illegal. So you and this group, you go around and what's a good word for it? You steal shit. Yeah, that's the nicest way I can put that. You steal shit from corporations. And we're not talking about, oh, you stole a DVD or an album. No, you hack into a place, you walk through there, and you steal shit. And apparently something has gone really, really fucking wrong, because you and your group have stolen something, and none of you really remember stealing it, except for one individual, and the game starts and they die immediately. And this whole thing is you trying to figure out what's happened, trying to connect with the other two, I believe it's two members of your group, maybe three, to try and keep them alive, and obviously yourself. And it becomes this gigantic conspiracy. This is very much a cyberpunk meets, Cthulhu game, which I love those. And yeah, so you're constantly having these weird nightmares of Cthulhu, in case that wasn't obvious when I said it was a Cthulhu game. For any of you who don't know that, that's what Cthulhu does. It gives you nightmares about Cthulhu until you go crazy and then summon Cthulhu or something. That's generally how Cthulhu works. So you're trying to figure out what the hell happened, what you guys stole, why it's important, and you're trying to figure out what your dreams mean, because they're not just dreams. You're another creature in another world, and you just know it's not just a dream, it's something real. So you go around, you obviously you go and investigate your friend's murder, and then you're trying to find other stuff. It's a very linear game, and it's not a particularly long game. I think it's like a 5-hour-ish game. There's a handful of collectibles, which can take you a while to get. Most of the achievements are missable. There's a lot of missable achievements in this, but you can replay chapters to go back and get them. Thank God. That's awesome. I love when people do that. Thank you, you guys. And yeah, that's pretty much the plot. It's mostly just walking around, interacting with the few things that can interact with the grab collectibles. You get to scan the environment a little bit, and then you get to look at dead things.
So is it more like adventure game style, or is it more like walking sim style?
It's more walking sim with very minor puzzles put into it. It's very much a walking sim type game, which is fine. It's what I like. It's I don't know if anyone here remembers Canarium. I'm pretty sure I reviewed that for you years ago at this point.
I don't remember.
Yeah, that doesn't shock me. It falls very much in line with Canarium. There was another one I reviewed that went along the same thing, I think made by the same company, but it goes in line with games like that. It's very much walking sim, solving small puzzles here and there, it's more narrative than anything. So it's there to tell you a story, and you're just getting from point to point so you can hear more story. And the story's pretty good. I have to admit, it's pretty good. The graphics, mostly pretty good. When you see characters, they don't look particularly amazing, but everything else does. And they have some really alien designs for some individuals that you meet in the dream that are really cool looking. The environments all look really good, things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, some creepy screenshots for it. Looks pretty interesting. The game's sitting at $20. What do you think of it?
I think this is generally worth it for the average individual. Personally, I would have bought it on a 50% sale, but I'm a cheapskate, so.
Yeah, you are.
Well, that's what happens when you make under $10,000 an entire year. So.
Hey, I'm the same way, so. Oh, shit. All right, next game to talk about.
That's because you buy games.
I do. I have a sugar mama.
That's why you make that little.
I have a sugar
I don't
mama.
have one
I'm
of
lucky.
those yet.
My wife loves me, and I don't know why. Next game to talk about is Rune Factory 4 Special, developed by Marvelous Inc., published by XSEED Games, released December 7th on Xbox One, Series X and S, PS4, and PC for $29.99. Journey to the vibrant world of Rune Factory and experience the legendary farming fantasy adventure like never before. Our friend Surlyna wrote in a review, this is what she's got to say. Hello, SML friends, fam, and everyone in between. It's your girl Surlyna, and this week I'm reviewing Rune Factory 4 for the Xbox One. Farming games are one of my guilty pleasures. I'm a bit ashamed to admit that I was one of those people farming for friends on Facebook when Farmville was a thing. So imagine my surprise when Joe Cam was like, hey, do you want to review a farm game? Why, yes. Yes, I do. Rune Factory 4 is actually a port of the same title that was released in 2012 on the 3DS. I never heard of the series before, so I was eager to get my hands on it. Wait, she's never heard of the series, yet she loves farm games? For shame, Surlyna, for shame. Let's get some things out of the way. If you've never played games like Harvest Moon, Story of Seasons, even Stardew Valley, then you've got a pretty decent idea of what basic gameplay in Rune Factory is like. You plant seeds, harvest them when they grow, and sell them for money. You also meet various other townsfolk whom you can befriend, date, marry, and have children with. Rune Factory does these elements just about the same way as those other games, so I don't feel the need to discuss them. Instead, let's talk about the differences, and they are important. One of the differences I really liked in Rune Factory is the use of FMVs. Whenever you meet a new character you can potentially romance, there's a cute little FMV with it. There's also voice lines. The main character and characters do talk. Granted, these are small little snippets of dialogue, but it's refreshing to hear what these characters sound like. You can also listen to the voice lines in either English or Japanese, so that's cool. Rune Factory also eschews a traditional tutorial by using the request box. The request will pretty much take you through several other elements of the game, like combat and building up the town. Another main difference is the way you build up the town. In order to do so effectively, you need to complete requests in order to gain prince or princess points. These points are what you use to expand your inventory, get more items to buy, schedule festivals, and learn licenses, so you do a variety of other things like cooking and making medicine. This mechanic was super refreshing and brought newness to the genre for me. Another difference is Rune Factory also operates like an RPG. Not only do you increase your skills, you level up, you fight and capture monsters, you go dungeon delving, you have HP. Anything you do in the game other than walking requires RP. The RP does come back over time, but it's something that needs to be managed. For instance, if you run out of RP and you try to harvest a plant, you can do it, but it'll take some HP, which does not heal over time. Some actions can only be completed with RP, so be mindful of that. There's also a fairly robust storyline, but it revolves around the main character losing their memory, which makes me grumble. Y'all know how I feel about that overused plot device. Another thing that isn't great is the graphics. Supposedly it's a remaster of a 3DS game from 2012, and you can definitely see the age. All the sprites are a bit muted and blurry on the edges, and you could tell the game has been stretched out to fit a TV. The shame is I would like to see the 3DS mechanic of having a map on the top screen and action on the bottom realized on my TV. Alas, it's not meant to be. Rune Factory 4 is available right now on Xbox One and other platforms for $29.99, and should you buy it, I'll give this game a solid try it. If you could get over the elder graphics, it's a pretty decent game here. If you're looking for a new type of farming game, or if you're new to the series as I am, you'll feel right at home, but if this isn't your bag, there isn't enough newness to sway you over to the farm side. Are you on the farm side?
No.
No, you don't like farm games?
No, I hate farming.
All right, I guess Surlyna's covering those from now on since Cole's gone.
Yep. I don't know how. It's such tedium to me. I need to think while I'm playing video games, even mindless ones. I need constant stuff happening, and just that amount of tedium. I can play like 5 minutes of it, and I'm like, I want to kill myself now. So it's like, no, I don't play those. No.
All right. Well, next game is Detective Dye, The Silk Rose Murders Detective by Nupixo Games, published by RedDeerGames, released December 3rd on Switch, 14th on Xbox One for $12.99. Someone systematically kills young women in the Chinese capital under the Tang Dynasty, leaving cards with riddles and warnings at the crime scene. After a daringly solved case, the young, newly minted but extremely talented Detective Dye receives from the Empress Wu Zetian.
D. Detective D.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah. It's just D.I. I didn't know. You could have said that at the beginning.
Well, I would, but I thought you'd only say it like once or twice, and then you kept saying it. I was like, oh.
I said it twice.
3 times now, but yes.
I didn't say it a third time. Oh, wait, yeah. Okay. Anyway, the task of discovering the identity of the murderer is yours. Aki, did you discover the identity of the murderer?
Yes. I don't
tell us who.
Can avoid. Yeah. Well, even if I did, no one would know who the fuck it is, because no one knows who the fuck it is until the very last section. Not even D does. So, basically, this is it's a point and click game, more or less. And you have 3 main chapters and a prologue. The prologue obviously introduces you to how to play the game and what to expect. You go around, you look for clues, which sometimes involve looking at bodies and looking at items in your inventory. So don't just pick up something and be like, okay, it's my evidence. No, sometimes you have to actually look at the fucking thing, because you might find something there. And then if you find a note, like, it doesn't just tell you what it is. You have to actually go into your inventory and fucking read it. Games don't make you do that usually, and that really screwed me up for a little while, because I was like, I know what do I do?
And then I was like,
oh, yeah, it screwed me up that it didn't automatically just tell me what it was, because I got it in my inventory, and then I never thought about it again. And then I couldn't continue. I was like, what else am I supposed to do? And I went and looked up a walkthrough, and I was like, oh, I'm supposed to actually look at that item, and it will give me a note out of it, and then I have to click and read the note. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So make sure you inspect your inventory. You pick things up. Just do it. You can go around. You can talk to different people, because obviously you're investigating murders. That's not a spoiler. It's already been told to you. So you talk to all the people that were around, because these people are good people and they don't let anyone leave the premises. So yay, good for that. And you're playing as a magistrate, which is basically judge and jury, as well as investigator. Basically, if you say someone is guilty, they're guilty, and they're going to go get punished now. So that's fun. And every level tells you how many clues you need to find, which there aren't very many. And I don't mean like when you pick up something that is obviously related to it, that's not necessarily a clue, because it's all logical clues instead. So it's like, oh, you got this and you got information from it. Okay, that information is the clue. Like, say you find some notes that are talking about going to behind a waterfall. Well, those notes aren't clues. They're just evidence. However, when you talk to people and you're like, oh, yeah, no, they went behind this waterfall all the time, that becomes a clue. And he's like, okay, so this is part of the answer here. And you just have to find all of those. And then he's like, okay. And then you go and talk to whoever's in charge. Usually it's the queen, so the empress. And then you walk them through it, and you have to answer 2 or 3 questions, which you should know the answers to, because it's like, oh, this person did this because you've already figured that out if you're paying attention to what you were doing in the level. how did they do it? You should know that if you were paying attention in the level when you found all the evidence that told you how they did it.
So as long as you pay attention, you're good in this one.
Pretty much, yeah. Some of the items you get are sometimes kind of hard to find, but for the most part, it's pretty easy to play through it. It does take some time. You can beat the game in probably an hour if you know exactly what you're doing and you remember everything. You can just speed right through this bitch. Your first playthrough, though, 4, 6, 8 hours, somewhere around there. So yeah, all of them involve murder, obviously, of young women, and then the last one is putting all this information together and solving the actual issue in order to try and prevent another woman from dying. So you don't actually know who the killer is because they're always one step ahead of you.
Nice.
Until you figured out exactly who they are, and then they're still one step ahead of you. So, but yeah, that's really all there is to it. Well, it's a very simple game. It takes a while to get through because there's a lot of backtracking, and you have to figure out how stuff goes together. Really.
Well, it's sitting at $12.99. What do you think of it?
Oh, I totally think it's worth that. Totally.
Cool.
If you like investigative games or point and clicks, you'll probably like this game.
Cool. Sounds good.
If you don't, well then, yeah.
All right, one final game to talk about tonight is called A Year of Springs, developed by npckc, published by Rataliaka Games, released December 10th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, and PS5 for $4.99. Experience the stories of Haru, Erika, and Manami in A Year of Springs, a visual novel trilogy about 3 friends navigating their feelings of love, connection, and just wanting to belong. Aki, tell us about your time with it.
Okay. This is a visual novel, a 2D little cutesy one, and it's separated into technically 4 chapters. Each of the first 3 focus on you as one of the 3 girls. They're all friends with each other. And the first one, you play as Haru, who happens to be a trans woman, and they're all in Japan, I guess I should also point out. And there are a lot of things in Japan that they just don't consider a thing. And that's one of them. So they're like, no, you're a guy. It is what it is. So she's dealing with some stuff. She's meeting with her friend Manami, I think is what it is. I can't remember exactly. She's the one I can't remember the name of. There's only 3 girls, and I can't remember her fucking name.
I think it's Manami. Yeah.
Manami. Okay.
Haru, Erika, and Manami, or Manami,
right.
Whatever it is.
Manami's fine. I can't remember how to pronounce that properly. But it's Manami's birthday, and she's invited you to a very expensive hot spring for the day, because that's her parents' birthday gift to her. Is a trip and she's allowed to take a couple of her friends. So she's like, okay, you're my childhood best friend. I'm going with you. And she also brings Erika, a friend from high school that you don't know. And again, there's issues in the in the country when it comes to stuff like that, because like one of the first things you have to do when you go there is you have to sign basically a guest log, and for that they take your legal name, your sex, your phone number, all that kind of stuff, just in case they have to get in contact with you, or if they have to charge you, or if something bad happens and the cops need to know who you are, all that fun crap. And obviously, Haru had to give, their full name because they haven't had their surgery or any of that other stuff. So they had to give their legal name and their legal sex, which does not make Haru happy. And then it's just how Haru interacts with her friend, who it's very obvious Haru has a thing for her. And this new girl, Erika, that Haru doesn't fucking know. She's like, I don't know if I can talk with this person. I don't know if this person's gonna treat me poorly. All this other stuff. And yeah, it's just that one day. Just one day with them, that one night basically, and it's how you interact with the two. There's like 6, 7, 8 endings for that one, depending on your choices throughout it. And one of them, I don't know which one, but it'll probably take you a few times of playing through it before you unlock the next story, which focuses on Erica. And she ends up dealing with her feelings for Haru, because she originally was just like, yeah, Haru's fine, I guess, whatever, not really caring. And then she's like, oh, I don't like when Haru and Minami hang out with each other without me. I don't like hearing information about Haru from not Haru. Her not telling me things is bothering me, and she's like, I don't know what this means, and which kind of confuses me a little bit, considering this girl has dated other women and men in the past, so she should know what those feelings are. But it's just about her mostly interacting with Haru, because this time it's Haru's birthday, and she wants to be the one in control of it, setting up all the plans and all this other stuff to give her a really good birthday, because she doesn't like that Minami has all this information stuff. She's very jealous. She doesn't realize it, but she is totally jealous. So she's like, no, I'm going to plan this, and it's going to be great. And again, there's another whole bunch of endings for this, because Erica doesn't know Haru as well, because this is either later that same year or the very next year, so she still hasn't gotten to know Haru super well yet. So this is about her learning about some of Haru's peculiarities and the like, and trying to come up with a good birthday for her. And again, I don't know which ending or how many endings you have to unlock to unlock the next stage, but eventually you'll unlock the next story as well. And in that one, you play as Minami, and Erica and Haru are acting weird, and you don't understand why. Would you like to guess why?
No. Why?
Well, that's because clearly they're dating.
What?
So obvious. Yeah.
What?
Who would have thought?
What?
And yeah. And then, it's about trying to figure out Minami being a fucking block of wood. She's so goddamn dense. Trying to figure out why they're acting weird. And then she learns a lot about herself and her relationship with her boyfriend. And that one, if I explain any further than that, it would kind of ruin that story, because it's a much shorter story. There's, again, another 4 to 6 endings there, but that one's a much shorter story than the other two. And then the last one is the epilogue, which you don't actually interact with. You just constantly hit A, read the next piece, hit A, read the next piece over and over until it's over.
What? You're reading in a visual novel? What?
Yeah, but you don't make any choices in this piece. So there's only one ending for that. And it's basically just talking about what happens, I assume, a year or two after all the other incidents. Because I think Minami's the one that focuses on her. I think that takes place the same year as the one where you're focusing as Erica. So it's just later on that year. And I think the epilogue is a couple years later or something. Because Erica and Haru are moving in together, and it's just the three of them talking with each other about their feelings and moving and all that other stuff. It's a really, really sweet and kind of sad visual novel. There's a lot in it that's just like kind of heartbreaking, and there's a whole bunch that's so cute you kind of want to cry.
Nice. Well, it's $5. So what do you think of it?
Oh, 100%. You should totally get this. This is amazing. And it'll probably take you about 3 hours to play. It took me 5, but I also ate in the middle of it. So,
wow. So you were cheating.
Yeah, I needed to eat before the session. So I had a couple grilled cheese and some tomato soup. So.
Oh, I want some grilled cheese now.
Oh yeah, my grandpa makes amazing grilled cheese. Just the perfect amount of gooey. It stays that perfect yellow color. Doesn't go brown. He doesn't burn any of it. Oh my god, it's amazing.
We went a bunch of us when I went to visit some friends in Arkansas. They had like a gourmet grilled cheese place. Yes, it was like a gourmet grilled cheese place. And my buddy ordered like every cheese possible on his sandwich, and he called it the Holy Cheeses.
I love that. How much did that cost him?
I don't remember. It was years ago. I just remember him loving that name. Holy Cheeses. Haha, get it, guys? Cheeses? Yes.
Your friends are dorks.
Yes. Yes, they are. And you're one of them, so you're a dork too. All right, that's it for this episode. We made it through another one. Big thanks to you and Jacob for being here, hanging out. Massive thanks to Evan Wolbach for coming on from Dead Drop Studios, chatting about Outbreak. Go check out the demo. It is on the Xbox store now. Game coming out next year sometime, and I'm sure Evan will be back to talk about it when it's ready to go.
One of these days, I'll play the rest of those games. I've only played one. And the demo. One of these days, I'll get the rest of them.
They've gotten so much better over the years. It's really cool to see how they have progressed. So,
I think the one I played was Epidemic. I think was the subtitle for it. I think, and I think that was Games with Gold, or maybe I reviewed it a couple years ago.
I don't know. One of those.
If he ever wants me to review them all, he's more than happy to send them to me. I don't mind at all.
Who knows? Maybe we'll do a full series retrospective before the next one comes out.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. It takes me a few hours to beat the one that I did play, I think. So yeah.
Cool.
About that long.
Again, that's it for this episode. We're done with this one. Music. I was going to play that Jinglevania song for you the other episode, but then we got thrown off because Josh Barron was on and we had to play his music. So we're going to play Jinglevania this episode.
Awesome.
Yay. Do you have any final words to end it?
Fuck nuggets.
Now, you didn't Jacob use that?
I don't know. I wasn't listening to anything that shithead said.
Now, I want to say he said fuck nuggets.
Fuck nugget.
Oh, what a fuck nugget. He stole my fucking word again. What a dickhead. Jacob's a dickhead. There you go.